Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
To another installment of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It is live and in living color, as they like to say on Cova Sports TV. Glad you are tuned in wherever you are watching and listening to us. We're all over the web on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, like, share button as well on our YouTube channel with Cova Sports TV. We're also on X, or Twitter as they call it, Hatfield Sports 757 Sports Talk. We're there as well. Facebook, we're all over the web. IG2 at Hatfield Sports 2K4. Tune in, like, share, and subscribe, as I mentioned, and interact with us as we say good morning to you on this first Saturday of 2024 September. And with the coach, Ed Young, I am Matt Hatfield. Ed, how was your holiday weekend and week, we should say, as you go into the month of September and you're still not in school? You're a free agent, retired free agent. The dog's still barking. Looks like you have a couple more collectible items. And I'll have to begin the show with our little mini story from last weekend, our extravaganza, before we dive in on all the high school football scores. We've got college football hot and heavy. First weekend of NFL action. And we've got a smattering of players that have Virginia and 757 ties that we'll touch on, including one last night that dropped a quarterback out in Brazil, who we've actually spoken with and actually did a dodgeball event at the Sportsplex last year. I'll tell you more about that as we move along. But howdy, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I feel good. It's a good week. Got my workouts in as I had planned to, with a little bit of adjustments here and there. The days now all run together, I guess you could say, with no active situation I have to be at. I keep busy with a lot of things I got to do around the house. Pat Doolin, hopefully he will check in. I did some work on the wall unit here. Got some papers out of the way. Moved some things around. Still not finished with it, but I moved it around. Should look better than his, I think. Watching some games here and there. It was good. The Baltimore-Kansas City game was great. I thought last night NFL game was really good out there in Brazil.
At the establishment that serves wings and other food items, they ended up booting us out because we were told that they have to make sure that the workers get home safely. Fourth quarter, bunch of angry Eagles fans. I said, well, I guess I'm heading home to do my Hats Hits IG live show, and away we go. I thought it was going to be a riot in there, by the way.
I thought you got kicked out for other reasons because food was running out because of your company.
My company? No. You're funny. You're a good one. And this place is I won't again. They don't sponsor the show. If they sponsor the show, I'll give them all the pops they want. And they have people to listen. By the way, I did that with the steak place last week, and then they liked my thing on IG and shared it. Well, come on, subscribe to the thing. Come on now. Anyhow, places near where I was, Palatine Field, by Old Dominion in Norfolk. Nonetheless, there was an angry mob of Eagles fans. I thought that angry mob of Eagles fans was going to start throwing things. I was like, oh boy! Now they would have been even angrier if they didn't win the ball game. But a lot of action. And then the college football weekend. Let's go there for a second. You ended up, and I'll do this because they don't sponsor, but they probably won't now. Try knock them a little bit here. We went to the casino over there in Portsmouth. Ed Young dragged me to that, ladies and gents, last Saturday. First time I've ever been there, and I don't know that I'll go back because I'm still recovering, coughing from all the smoke that was throughout the entire building. But, mainly there to watch the sports book and the games and whatnot. And your Notre Dame Fighting Irish got themselves a W over Texas A&M. Some baseball on the TVs as well, other college football action. You had the late game where Arizona was able to pull it off, even though they almost had some trouble there. Big second half for them. It was a neat experience to go, but man, that smoke it's like more smoke in there than there is something a fire. My gracious.
Well, the smoke was, if you go out in the floor with gambling ideas, which is why you go to casino. And
That wasn't what I was going to get some food and use the bathroom a couple times. I do drink a lot of water, so you know me, I have to take a leak every now and then.
Well, we went out and I got Hatfield here to throw some money away in the slot machines, but
that was nice of you. Very nice.
Total novice in terms of how he plays. It was just frustrating. He expected to put. He remind me of my mother when I took her one time to a casino. She put a $20 bill in and fussed out one of the workers that she got no money in return. We try to explain to her it's gambling. You'll probably get way less than you put in.
I'm going to get everybody all fired up on this. So people go to Vegas all the time, slot machines. They play the lottery. They get the scratchers, scratch offs. A lot of people do that as stocking stuffers for Christmas, including my folks get it from other family members and close people in the family. Nonetheless, here's my thing about that. So you do that. Going in. This is my first time having done that. And, when you pick a team, like we're going to do later in the show, our picks at the end of the show. And by the way, we'll throw it up on the screen now here. The final regular season tally. You see Bruce Pearl, our man from the Virginia Beach Mustangs, whose team I think is in action at about, I think he told me they got a 10:30 game, but you can watch it later on here at 12 noon, I think it is, on Coven Sports TV from the Sportsplex. All the Mustangs action. It's also archived. Future stars are tomorrow on the gridiron, Fridays and Saturdays. A couple of Mustangs have gone on to the pros. Bruce squeaked it out over you and me, 55.1%. I was 54.7%. You were 52.9%. However, when you encompass the postseason, I beat both of you guys. So take that for data. But Ed, when you pick football games like we are later in the show, I feel like you want to have a 50-50 shot to win. When you throw your coin in the machine, after the $20 evaporated before I blinked, I realized I didn't have a 50-50 shot. I had a 10-90 shot, which begs the question, what am I doing here and why am I doing this? And this is no fun. At least it's like when you flip a coin, it's 50-50, heads, tails, unless you have the double-headed coins like Ed carries and ends up bamboozling people. He bamboozles them with you pick heads or tails, and he always picks heads, and you pick tails, and you lose because he's got a double-headed coin. So,
well, I'm not a gambler either. I don't mind slot machines once. I just don't have the money to throw away because that's what you're doing. If you think people think they're going to win or they have a technique that guarantees them winning out of a slot machine, please, it's not going to happen. Vegas people even tell you that. Yeah, it's the one thing you have no control over. Some like blackjack, you could do blackjack, and it's a little bit of strategy because of hit me, split, whatever. But I'm not good at the card games either, so I'm not trying to lose everything I walk in there with. The casino experience, it was pretty neat to go in there last weekend. You got what you count, 24 TVs. We watched all kind of games, baseball, football. Of course, Notre Dame was the big game on.
Craig Crumble and the Orioles against the Colorado Rockies at Coors. Although the Orioles won last night, nice 2-0 shutout of Tampa Bay as they stay a smidge ahead of your Yankees, who prevailed at Wrigley Field this day as Anthony Rizzo returned to the ball club. He helped win a championship a few years back. Go ahead.
Yeah, we did get to watch a lot of that, and of course, we had to come into a situation where Hatfield had to take walks because every time you were not in front of the screen, Baltimore would do all right. Every time you reappeared, it was disaster.
Yeah,
so
sent me away.
The Hatfield jinx is real. He jinxed himself. Yeah. So it is real. People have to be careful of that. It is scary. But, it's pretty neat to go there and watch all the games, got a little bit of food in us. But not to go out on the floor. And I'm telling you, the people in the casino in Portsmouth, it's the one casino, we're probably speaking too much about it. The smoke is a joke. Most casinos you go to are non-smoking, and they have a certain section.
I don't frequent
for smokers.
I don't frequent a bunch of casinos like you. I'm not a casino aficionado like you are. Some people are cigar aficionados. You are a
the crazy experience. How about the pizza experience? We won't name the place. There's a place
are we allowed to say, or are we gonna get in trouble with the three friends, people we know that we ran into there? Are we allowed to say that, or are we gonna get in trouble?
I mean, as long as you're over 21, they can be in there. It doesn't matter who it is.
The good pals like Mike Evans, former Booker T. Washington star and ex-Granby hoops coach, LeVar Griffin, Oscar Smith hoops coach, and Ray Collins, Oscar Smith AD. Some good folks in there in the casino. All of whom all of whom probably walked away with more shekels than you and I combined.
Well, they might be vets at playing it or whatever. And again, if you can do it, more power to you. I don't frequent the place because
wait, time out. You don't frequent the place. You came on the show last Saturday after you went there Friday night, and you dragged me the next day.
That was the second and third time I've ever been in that casino, and it was funny. It was back to back. I went Friday night. I can't remember why I went Friday night. Something was the band that playing, the jazz band that was playing. Got to see the jazz band that was playing Friday night.
And by the way, when you go back towards the bathroom area and after you get through the cloud of smoke, because I didn't realize I was walking. That's an issue. I was walking all the way across. I thought that was the closest bathroom, and then I found out later in the evening, during our escapade, our extravaganza, our hairless crazy adventure, that there was a closer bathroom. So I didn't have to walk as far, but there was a show playing, and let me tell you something. I think you would have been thoroughly entertained from the little bit I saw that you didn't see back there. I don't know if you knew who was playing. I don't even remember who the act was that was playing, but people were getting down and boogieing. If they still say boogieing, if they still get down and boogie.
They don't say that anymore, but it's okay for you to do it because you're catching up. But I saw a ton of people in there Friday night too. Some coaches out and about in the area. I guess it's a place of relaxation for a coach. Some people play golf. Some people bowl. Some people go in and lose their mind in money. Yeah. But it's good for that. The sports bet or a sports book place or whatever where all the TVs are for the sports betting that they don't allow smoking right there, which is good because it would be a disaster if it was. But there's enough smoke once you move out into the floor to get cancer all you want. But how about the pizza place we went to? We were hungry. There's two pizza places, one by the sports bet place, but it closes fairly early. So we took a venture into the casino and we went to a place. It's kind of in the middle of the casino. We go through the line. Food looks good. And I asked the lady before I ordered, I said, okay, who do we pay? She goes, well, you have to go over there. It's going to be about 35, 45-minute wait. I go, wait for what? The pizza. I said, ma'am, it's like a million slices right there. Well, you got to wait your turn as other people. You don't see all these other people standing here. Now I started saying, okay, I'm going to get ignorant. But I bit my tongue because I was about to say no, I'm blind. I can't see nothing. I don't know any people here. My point was there's 4, 5, 6 workers. All the pizza's already ready. How does it take 45 minutes to get pizza? Most everybody was ordering slices. There was tons of. Meanwhile, you ordered. You didn't hear all this stuff. And you had to go back. And Hatfield's talking to the guy. Hey, I want to. You didn't tell me how long it's going to take. He walks away from Matt right in the middle of the conversation. Matt chases after him. Matt gets his money. Matt gets his money back. But I looked at Matt. I said, can you believe the ignorance here? These people shouldn't be working. Customer service at this pizza place in the casino was horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I won't put their name out there. I'm just going to tell people it's next to the Chinese place. And if you see more than 1 or 2 people in there, don't order because it'll take you 45 minutes to get a slice.
I remember I was getting cheesecake to go for my folks. I was going to surprise them.
Exactly right. You'd already paid for it. He didn't say a word to you. Now, how can cutting a slice of cheesecake, which was right behind the guy that took your money, nobody else ordered cheesecake, going to take 40 minutes to get? That's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
By the way, does my microphone sound okay? I'm getting a text. We might have some technical difficulties. You hear
right now, I got you. I got you.
All right. Well, if anybody else,
you're good.
Send us a comment or post us a note. We are trying to get that troubleshooted and fixed here. But anyhow, a lot happening in the world of sports. It was a once in a lifetime experience last weekend, and I don't know that I'll go back. But hey, it is what it is. I know
we'll be back when it's another big game. I can tell you that right now.
You will be back. I might not. I like to keep my shekels. It's like they say here today, gone tomorrow. Here today is the money gone by the evening, gone within an hour and a half. Go ahead.
You played the slots last Saturday. If you noticed, I didn't put any money in anyone.
You were being all selective about how you can't win out of this machine. I'm like,
yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a feel.
So why did you tell me play this machine and then you
that's for me.
You set me up. It was a setup job by you. A hack job.
The one I like, but they don't have it in there. It's in Vegas. Remember the old TV show Sex and the City?
Didn't watch it. Wasn't one of mine. It's not. It's not.
It was a TV show, and they have the slot machines of Sex and the City in Vegas. When I play that machine, I dare say every time I played it, I've won some. Nothing really big. I think the most I've ever won out of a machine twice was $500. But
wow,
you put 20 in, I win 40. I put 20 in, I win 60.
$500. The way you act like that was nothing. Yeah, Mister. And by the way, you're Mr. Guy that always cries poor mouth over there. Oh, I don't have anything. You won $500 out of the machine twice. Jeez.
It said on what now?
You said you always cry poor mouth, and you've won $500 out of a machine. You said twice. My goodness.
Yeah, I didn't win. I've only been to the Portsmouth Casino 3 times. The first time I went, because it was new, there was a show I wanted to see, and I played some of the slot machines, probably blew about maybe 100, maybe. Won a little bit, put it back in. I would say overall that night, totally, probably lost about $100. And when you lose $100 and walk out, being a / teacher coach, you start saying how stupid that could have been a bill paid right there. But again, that's a casino. I just don't make it a point to go all the time. I'm sure we got listeners out there that have done great in the casino, probably have their little tricks up their sleeves and win money. If they're out there and they're listening, you're allowed to chime in on the line and say maybe what was the most money they ever won at one point, at one time, not all together, in a casino of their choice. Let's see who's got the monies.
Well, let's go through some of the high school football action that transpired on Thursday and Friday night across the 757 and beyond here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We'll cue up a little bit of a jingle in the background and go do that for you all now. By the way, on the picks that you can find on VirginiaPrep.com, we get that announcement each and every week for all of you loyal readers, listeners, followers, tweeters, and interactors. I think we split last night, Ed. I think you got one in the beach, and I got one that involved a southeastern Eastern non-district matchup. I don't recall us disagreeing on any of the games. Could be wrong, but I know we disagreed on a couple there. But let's start with
I think it might have been 2. Now, let me just say this before you give out the big one. Okay. No, I'll wait till you give the score, then I'll tell you what I did.
I don't know what you did. All right, let's go through first and foremost the action that took place on Thursday night in the 757. You had the Warwick Raiders, a game I was at, and you'll hear from in a little bit the head man as well as a couple of standouts for the Raiders, Corey Hairston and 2 of his defenders. It was actually getting exciting, Ed, in a game that was 47-0. You say, how on earth are you saying that? Because Bethel got a big pass completion. The shutout was about to be broken up when the Bruins got to first and goal at the 2, but 4 straight stuffs by Warwick inside the 2. And voila, the Raiders, the wascally Warwick Waiters, get it done with a shutout. Donuts coming to them 47-0 over the Bethel Brouhahas. Also Thursday night in high school football action. King and Queen a winner 20-12 over Windsor. Hickory all over Manor 54-6. You actually kind of thought Manor had a chance in this game, and I told you not a chance. And that ended up being a total blowout. Whitewash. Hawks win their opener under Coach Donnell Brown. And by the way, speaking of the Hawks and Coach Donnell Brown, looking at some of the numbers offensively for Hickory in that ball game, turns out that, if you would know, I would get it and then I would lose it. That's just how this works. There you go. 400-plus yards of offense for them. Good job for the offense. Essex a winner over Jamestown 48-6. If you follow our class 6-1 top 10s on Virginia Preps, you know how good Essex is, which lost in the state championship last year to Galax on a field goal at the end. Essex all over Jamestown 48-6 to move to 2-0. They've been mighty impressive thus far. Woodside a 21-6 victor over the Grassfield Grizzlies over at John B. Todd Stadium in Newport News. So Alonzo Coley gets his first win at the helm of the Wolverines, the former Kickatan coach and Phoebus assistant. Arcadia, a winner over Charles City, 27-14. While you had Rappahannock, 54-8 over West Point. But remember now, they put up 77, Sir Edward, on Nandua last week. So Rappahannock, a team you might have to watch out for in Class 1. And we got a circle when Rappahannock plays Essex, because that could be one whale of a ball game. You also have in that Northern Neck District, Northumberland, who can move the ball and score points in bunches at will. Rappahannock Northumberland's the season finale. Essex plays Rappahannock on October the 11th. So circle that one on the calendar. Maybe we'll get Ed out to the Northern Neck to check out some high school football action.
That would probably be, if people want to see a high scoring, as I say, basketball on grass, that might be the one.
All right. Let's move to Fridays, actually. Any quick reaction or thoughts from the games?
On the Thursday games, I think pretty much everything according to plan, especially the ones that, you and I went through on the picks. But looking at some of the other ones that we didn't, you do see an awful lot of course, it's only, second week of the season, but you see a lot of demolishing type scores, 58-0.
That's a word, demolishing?
Yeah, it is. They're just getting demolished. And
how do you spell that? Can you use it in a sentence? Demolishing.
Yeah, it's when you lose 74-0, you got demolished. Yeah, it's
the word twice now. You went with demolishing and demoralizing. It was a demoralizing.
They're related. If you look them up, which I know you probably don't even own a dictionary, but I try to each day look up one word that I don't really know, and then at some point, I learned this back in second grade. At some point during the day, you try to use that word in your conversation or your whereabouts, wherever you're going. Now, that doesn't always come about. And there are some days I don't speak to anybody, so therefore I can't use the word. And if I use it to the dog, all he wants to know is, are we going outside and you're feeding me? So it doesn't matter about the language. But again, you used a dictionary in school as a door stopper, so you probably wouldn't really understand that.
It helps. But, sometimes you got to have a door stopper.
Right. And it's okay. Like I said.
Unless you got a brick, but I use that to chuck it at you. So.
And that's why I try to let people know I am abused a lot on this show and in other shows. But I still try to keep you upright, because I have to deflect those that are coming at you from all sides in your predictions or whatever. I will say this, in my predictions this week, nobody gone on me about any predictions. So
because they realized how bad you were last week, they said it's just a waste of time. There's no need to.
Well, I put a disclaimer out. If you're going to worry about my picks for your teams to win,
a lot of issues in your life. I'm worried about Ed Young's picks. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can't worry about mine. I said now Hatfield's more the expert, so people should be able to get on you, because you're a whole lot bit more in depth on what these teams do and have. So you're the one they should be getting on. I'm just doing it for the sake of entertainment purposes only. If somebody wants to pay me for real picks, then that would be different, but that's not going to happen.
No, you don't need to pay you, right? Let's go to the Friday games. Where do you want to start? There's a lot of out-of-district matchups. Bay Rivers versus Eastern, Southeastern versus out of the area, Eastern versus Southeastern Peninsula.
You got to start out of the area with the PD team, which was a highlight game, which we, in our predictions, we both got wrong.
Yeah.
Even though when I typed it in, I put in Phoenix. Instead of Phoebus, I put in Phoenix. Don't ask why. I erased it because I already knew what you would have said. Phoenix who? I meant Phoebus, but I typed Phoenix. So I erased Phoenix, and for some crazy reason, I said, whoa, wait a minute. The game's in Richmond. No, I got to go Highland Springs. But, sir, what happened in that game?
It didn't matter. The Phantoms were absolutely dominant from soup to nuts, start to finish, as they held a Highland Springs attack, Ed, that ran for 242 yards on Manchester last week in a rout to just 4 yards rushing. 194 yards on the ground for the Phantoms. There was questions about Davion Robertson in play, by the way. There was rumors he got hurt in the scrimmage against Maury, and concussion when he played. He was a bull running the ball, and Phoebus' offense, 306 yards, and the poise and the savvy of the 10th grade quarterback who threw that game-winning touchdown pass last year, Maricus Banks. It was on display. Those hard-hitting linebackers with Caleb Tillery and Brendan Thompson. Marcus Hobson got in the backfield and got a sack. 4-year starter on the line. He's compared to Howard. He was one of our favorite interviews in the offseason, and he's one of the best two-way linemen in all of Virginia. And the Phantoms got it done over Highland Springs. Big props to Jeremy Blunt and that defense. And we might connect with Jeremy Blunt before we sign off today. He told me he'd like to come on, so he's going to try to get on with us before we sign off a little bit after 11 this morning here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. But what a job by them, 23-7. And Ed, for Highland Springs to be held to just 7 points, single-digit points, it's just the second time in the last 96 games that they've been held to one digit on the scoreboard. Think about that. That speaks volumes to the job that Phoebus did on defense as the win streak now moves to 36 in a row and counting. They're any two-time state champs trying to get a four-peat, which they did in the past. 4 in a row, they won state championships from 2008 to 2011 when it was under the late, great Bill D at the beginning of that dynasty stretch, and then Stan Sexton took over, and then Blunt took over for Sexton after that. But what can you say? This was a thorough beat down by the Phantoms as they really, really flexed their muscles with a dominant performance. And Roberts runs for $104 on 22 carries. Banks is 8 of 10 for $112, so very efficient there. They did so many things well in this football game.
Again, just listen to what the score was in your observation of what would happen there. I thought Highland Springs, with their attack in terms of their hands people, they get the ball out, they get yardage when they catch, they've got skill, they got speed. And I just figured at Highland Springs, they got the energy, they got the fans, whatever. Stupid me, that's Phoebus. All right, the defense is always strong. And another thing about Phoebus, they always step up in big games. That's the mark of a great team, is in the bigger games, they step it up. And Phoebus defense is known to be extremely strong year in and year out. And I'm just guessing they must have been able to push that line out of the way to hurry Highland Springs up. And when you tell me Highland Springs gets 4 yards rushing total, that's line play.
Well, a couple of things. And there's some people out there that will maybe chime in on our show. We actually were trying to get a former Crabber and the Hokie, Dwight Vick, on the program. He was there. He called me last night. Got some other things going on today. He's going to talk with us probably next week about Tech ODU and maybe give his thoughts on what he saw from Phoebus, Highland Springs, and other teams around the high school football area. But a couple things you said. You said big games, Phoebus gets up. No question about it. But so does Highland Springs. Highland Springs has, I think, their record like this. I don't have it in front of me, so I got my numbers wrong, folks. It's in the ballpark of like 11-2, 13-2 in their last 13 to 15 games against 7-5-7 teams. They've beaten Maury over the years. They've beaten Oscar Smith a couple of times in the playoffs last year, Norview, Indian River. But this is what Phoebus, to me, did right. And, they took them apart. They simply just took them apart, which I don't know that anybody envisioned happening to the way it did. And here's the other thing. I've seen the stories say, and people on the internet say, that this was an upset and Phoebus was the underdog. Nonsense. This, to me, was just like the Maury Wise game we'll touch on, more of a pick'em game. I might have gone 55-60, 55-45, 60-40 Highland Springs, but this is not a shocker that Phoebus won. The stunning part is that they just took Highland Springs apart because Highland Springs doesn't get beat sounding like that. Even last year in the state finals against Freedom, they were getting routed and made a comeback to make it a one-score finish. And that was a lethal record-setting Freedom team, at least the year before was record-setting offensively. They were not far behind it in 2023. But, man, oh, man, just ultra impressive from what we saw. I wasn't there, but what people saw from Phoebus and we see all season long. And then we say good morning to Woodrow out there. He was at the game. Phoebus' defense was awesome. We also say hello to our man Lynn Burke out there. Ed is not behaving, Lynn. You know the answer to that question before you ask it. Phoebus at this point, their schedule, who's touching them? I mean, they'll see Warwick in the Peninsula District, but I got to be honest with you. I mean, Warwick's a darn good football team. I think Phoebus is going to cruise its way. And I know Jeremy Blunt isn't going to hear that right now. He's trying to stay focused and locked in on one game, one day at a time, the next task. But last 4, if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to bring your A game and make them, and hope they have, not just make them, a less than strong performance, B+ or better.
Yeah, for anybody to say that was a major upset or even use the word upset, the only reason I could think they would say that it was Highland Springs at Highland Springs, maybe. But Phoebus is pretty doggone good. And they're in that situation where that staff has to just worry about keeping them focused. Don't take teams lightly because, again, high school, you beat a team like a Highland Springs. There's no question as you get ready for whoever, and I'm not sure who's next on the schedule, the kids will feel at times like, hey, look at me, we're good. We beat Highland Springs at Highland Springs. We're going to win the state title. Maybe you got a lot more games to go. And if you don't stay focused and things don't work, and you play somebody who's good, and their quote A game that everybody talks about is there, now it is an upset. You'll lose to probably a team you shouldn't have lost to. So that's the thing they have to guard against. Is just stay focused. You just got to execute and understand that you beat a team like Highland Springs. That's somebody you're going to play in the playoffs. So we already know if we can get there, that's somebody we can beat because we've done it. But you've also got to prove that you don't have any slip-ups as you go along, especially against teams, quote, you're supposed to beat. So, and that's the thing you've got to worry about more so high school level, I think, than the college and pro level because it's younger kids and the immaturity does come through at times.
Well, the thing that also jumps out at me and grabs me, two other elements to this. Number one, this is a darn good Phoebus team, but they don't have the blue chip mega name recruits on their roster. You saw our ticker earlier that had the FBS, FCS commits of all the players across the entire Commonwealth so far in the class of 2025. A couple years ago they had Jordan Bass, who's at Pittsburgh, big time player in the ACC, was Player of the Year in Tidewater, State Player of the Year. They had Anthony Reddick last year, Defensive Player of the Year in Maryland. Tayshawn Stevenson also in that defense now at Old Dominion. All right, they have some commits currently. We mentioned Hobson, who celebrated a birthday yesterday, so happy belated to him. Noah Jefferson, who's committed to Delaware. Hobson's going to Howard. You have Najee Gay going to NC Central. And Highland Springs has some guys committed. The quarterback, Nelson Lane, is a transfer from James River, who's going to Army. Lineman up front, and Damari Lasser going to Elon, and the son of Coach Lauren Johnson, Brennan Johnson, sifting over 20-plus offers. Lauren played at Virginia Tech. Older brother Braylon plays at Virginia Tech, and we'll see if Brennan goes there. But, okay, they didn't do this with, as many star power names. They went in their house and won, and they kind of, the defense gets all the praise and limelight, as it should in a lot of ways. But let's also not forget what the offense and special teams units did. 10th grade quarterback making his first varsity start as a 10th grader. Remember, he came in last year to injury, playoffs, had talent around him. Moore's on his plate. He delivered. Got a screen pass to Roberts, who's known for his running for a 22-yard touchdown. Romeo Smith, their big 6'5" link target, now a new starting receiver. He hauls in a 35-yarder. They get a 40-yard field goal from Ferris Knight, and those special teams plays can be an X factor, as you well documented a lot of times. So the whole group collectively in sync, bought in, and I think people might have overreacted to what they saw in the benefit game against Maury last month, where Coach Blunt didn't show his whole hand. This is where people get overreact mode for scrimmages and benefit games. And we'll see if that's the case for Highland Springs, who, by the way, next has to take on the Commodores of Maury. Do you want to go there next, sir?
It doesn't get any easier for Highland Springs at all when you got to come off a tough loss. That I feel they probably physically felt that game because Phoebus is a physical football team. And you're going to say, well, wait a minute, every team in football is physical. It's a physical sport. But Phoebus is a physical football team. Maury, I would say Maury's physical, but they're so athletic. And they beat you with legs and arms as opposed to just knocking you on your butt on the ground. But that's going to be a tough one, too. I can't even begin to start thinking about how that one is going to shape up. Now, that game is at Highland Springs, too?
That's at Highland Springs next Friday. And, by the way, the Commodores, after that game, take on Emery. But let's do this. Let's take a timeout. We've got more scores to go over and react with all of you. We'll come back and get some sound from the Thursday night games with the Warwick Raiders. And then we'll dive into the Maury game with Wise and other action from around the 757. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so we stay on the air and we continue to grow and prosper and blossom so we can bring you all the sports coverage, prep, local, statewide, high school, college, and pro for everyone out there. And we'll be doing some NFL picks at the conclusion of today's episode. But right now, let's take a time out and pay the bills with some of the sponsors that make it possible for all of us. And that includes Oh, good old Dairy Queen. Nothing better than those blizzard treats.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
All right, folks, we got another joke for you. What do you get when you cross a frog with some mist? Kermit the Fog.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
All right, we're back here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Apple, Spotify, IG, Hatfield Sports 2K4, Facebook, all over the web, Cova Sports TV, VirginiaPreps.com too. We were going through some high school football action from last time. We're going to play a bigger deal later on the show. 5 burning questions or items that we'll see what's a bigger deal in the opinions of Ed and me. Now, what in the world are you holding up on the screen? That's not Kermit the Frog, is it? No, what is that?
No, as far as your Kermit the Frog joke, my dog got up and walked out of the room. So he understood what you were saying, and I guess he was showing you what he thought about it. He actually got up, was looking at the screen, and then he walked out. So
I don't know where Prods is playing today. You think they're playing there today?
All right, who's Prods?
I don't know. He'll let us know where he's playing at. Maybe he's talking about the game that is at Darling Stadium today. You got Hampton and King George later on.
Okay, so yeah, because some people probably wonder with the rain, is any games.
I might mosey on over there today. I might mosey on over there. That's right, Woodrow. You tell Eddie. Don't sleep on Kermit the Frog or Mrs. Piggy. and don't make a bad joke because I said sleep on with Kermit the Frog and Mrs. Piggy. Just scratch your head.
I'm not touching it.
But tell the folks what we have on deck after you make your little snide comment remark. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. Woodrow, you see what I deal with. Lynn, if you're still out there and you're saying, I got to behave. I can't believe you guys aren't appalled at this dude in the pool. As we said, the segment, we're trying to find somebody sponsor Fool in the Pool. Because I think it'd be a moneymaker. It'd be great. But I just can't believe I'd
rather we have a segment where we put you in a dunk tank and we have a bunch of little kitties. We give them those plush toys, those little stuffed animals. Like I give my 8-year-old.
I would do a dunk tank for charity to win some money or win to get money for charities, whatever.
We do that. That's fine. But I was going to let the kids throw items, canned goods at a little thing or whatever it is at you, like tomatoes at you, and then also hit the little thing. And it
that's not how a dunk tank works. You throw at the bullseye, a baseball, whatever. You don't be throwing cans of whatever. See, this is where the wheels fall off.
Be great.
Okay. And this is why we have to have a segment of yesteryear. This is yesteryear. Ed Young is in this picture.
Nobody cares. What is that?
7th grade. Let me see if I can.
I can't pick you out. Which one are you?
Yeah, you're going to have to find me. You're going to have to find me. I'm not going to tell you which one I am. It's a homely looking group. We were pretty doggone good in basketball. If I can put this up right.
Jack, Nick, and me, and then we'll have to blow it up on the screen because it's so hard. But hold on, I got to put you in the solo screen. Hold on, here we go. There you go. Now try it. Go ahead.
Okay, can you see it?
Somewhat. All right. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna use my. Well, people can't see my cursor on here. I'm gonna guess you are. This is tricky. You're the kid. All right. You're the one.
It's easy.
Fourth one from the left. Is that you?
4th one from the left.
Yeah. Working from left over.
In the front?
In other words, going, okay, see where your right hand is? Your right hand.
Okay.
All right. Take the first kid closest to that. Second, third, fourth one. You're the fourth one is what I'm saying.
No, that's not me.
Not. Wow. Okay.
For you not to be able to find me is amazing. People, it's easy.
I think you can pick these out. I struck out. Let me look at the picture again here. Hold it up here. Let's see. You're not move it closer to the middle there. Move it more to your right. Yeah, better to your right. Yeah, you're going the other way. Yeah, I thought that was you. That's not you.
All right, we'll come back to it. It's easy. We'll come back to it. I'm in there. It's so easy to pick out.
I didn't really care at first, but now that I got it wrong, I kind of care to see which one you are. You made me care.
Well, we'll bring it up again later. It's the segment, Where's Ed Young? As we've done before. I've been in this concert, that concert, whatever. Now you got to find Ed Young in the picture.
By the way, if you're just listening to us audio-wise on Apple and Spotify, whether it be live or archived later, I'm not sure when it'll be up there. They can't see anything that you're talking about. So this is just for the visual audience on the YouTube portion. But anyhow, we have some more high school football to get to, including sound from Thursday night at Darling Stadium. With the great sounds of, got to give a shout out to Jim Schaffner. We have some of the best public address announcers in the area. We got Jim Schaffner at Darling, Dominic Velarde. We love Dominic at Todd. Bill Nettles was at Todd for many years. Now does it at Lake Taylor. You got Doug Ripley at Cox. We got some great PA announcers. Maybe we'll do a top 10 list. We'll anger people we don't put in the top 10 list. There you go, PA announcers. But go ahead. We have some sound from Thursday night, do we not?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we do. I don't have it written down anywhere as to what I'm doing, but let me see where I'm finding it at. I know you were out and about, and you saw the Warwick 47-0 win over Bethel. Another shutout by the UConn, the Wascally Red Raiders of Warwick. Got a chance to talk.
Red Raiders. That was your Suffolk High team, just the Wascally Raiders.
Well, I sometimes, back in the days with Ben Moore, I used to really get on Ben about, because Warwick was the Raiders and so was Suffolk High. And that's when I met Ben, the late, great Ben Moore.
Mm-hmm.
So I would kid him about, you should change color. You should be red instead of that maroon. And we don't need that color. We got our own. We have tradition before you came here. I said, no, Ben, Suffolk High was here before Warwick. So we had a good future.
Ben was right and you were wrong, but go ahead and proceed.
No, look it up. Somebody look. Lynn would know. Lynn Burke would know. What high school was established first, Warwick High School or Suffolk High School?
It doesn't matter which was established first.
Well, that's why I called them the Red Raiders. But let's go ahead and talk to Christian Corbin and Isaiah Emery, two of Warwick's top players. Matt got a chance to speak with them on Thursday after that 47-0 win over Bethel. Let's hear what they have to say here on Cobra Sports TV.
All right, here's a couple of heavy hitters for the Warwick Raiders. They pitch another shutout. That means more donuts for these guys. Isaiah Emery, the senior linebacker, number 11, and number 53, the junior defensive tackle, Christian Corbin. They get it done. All right, you guys are winning by a running clock. You know you're going to win this game 47-0, but the shutout matter. They get a 30-yard completion on the 2, 4 straight plays. You stuff them. How'd you and Big Phil and your mates get it done?
It's all about pride, man. We don't let no one score. We don't like no one to score. We all about pride. We got to keep it up.
Christian, you're a big guy up front. You linemen, you've been labeled maybe the best front four in the entire 7-5-7. How much do you take pride in games, basically just taking the heart and soul of the opposition, the offensive line, and demoralizing them?
Yes, sir. I take much pride in that. Every person that line up in front of me is me to dominate every time. So that's me, just holding pride. Yes, sir.
What you guys did last year, I know you didn't win the region championship or state championship, but to have all those shutouts basically as a defense until the Phoebus game, which you lost 10-2, more than the region championship, we know that. But what did you guys learn about yourselves, and how did you prepare this season from the off season to now?
I learned about ourselves. We work hard, and every time we step on the field, it's a different game. Like we all just click, every different level. So I love that with this team. So we're gonna keep it going.
I had an assistant coach from the opposing team tell me you were the best linebacker they watched on film last year. As a linebacker, how do you separate yourself and be so active out there?
Hey, work outside of practice, keep grinding, never give up, and we'll be consistent, always consistent, never stop, never work, keep working.
Some people wrote you guys off on Messiah, your leader, your standout who's committed to Maryland, went down. Did you guys, I mean, it certainly had to hurt, but did you guys say, all right, we're still pretty good there, we can make some things happen?
Oh, yes, absolutely. When Messiah went down, just next guy up. We kept going. We was ready for this. All our backup safeties, we was ready.
How good can this team be, and how great can this defense become in your eyes, Christian?
Oh, absolutely great. It's just about, are we willing to have it? Like on every play, every down, are we willing to keep continuing this? That's all.
You both are getting a lot of recruiting attention, I know, lately. You picked up as a Wake Forest offer. Give me the update. Who's in the picture? You going to go check out some schools and games and visits? What's on the table right now?
I'm going to Michigan, Coastal, a lot of schools.
You said Michigan. Who else was it?
Coastal Carolina.
Okay, cool. You got any dream schools or any favorites, perhaps? Or
Miami.
Oh, okay. You like the Canes. Big win for you. How about you, Mr. Emery?
I'm going to ODU this weekend. Dream school, Florida State.
Florida State's a dream school, but you're looking for the Monarchs and Pirates this weekend. All right, good deal.
Yes,
lastly, for you guys, under Coach Hairston, this team is really getting better and better, this program in general. What would you tell the fans out there, the Warwick Raiders fans, they can expect from this group the rest of the way?
We're tough, consistent, and we're very prideful. We're not going to give up no points.
You got to get donuts, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite? Glazed, chocolate? What do you like? Come on, be honest.
Glazed.
I like chocolate donuts.
All right, they're getting donuts coming up. Warwick pitches a shutout 47-0. Christian Corbin, I'd say Emery. Congrats, guys. Good job. Appreciate it. So there you heard it from Christian Corbin and Isaiah Emery, two young men that are getting some attention to the next level and certainly making noise as the Warwick Raiders are 2-0 on the season, Ed. So you do the math, the last couple of campaigns, they've played now, 12 regular season games, and only team to put a touchdown up on them was Phoebus, which was just one, which is fewer than what they had last night against Highland Springs. But this group, you lose Messiah and Delome, you wondered about how good they'd be. They're still rock solid and going to be heard from in that Region 5B, which we'll get to Maury in a moment and hear from their coach, Dyrri McCain, and a couple of standout players. But my goodness, they're going to be a handful and hard for most of those PD teams to score on. You better be multiple, versatile, balanced to have a chance to put points up on the board against those guys.
Yeah. They lost some people from last year. We understand that. And, of course, the injury to what's the young fella's name?
I just said it, Delome.
Yeah.
Which you're all over the place. So.
I'm all over the place. I'm getting too many messages at once. People are sending me messages about the show. People go on the chat line about the show. They're saying they're watching it. So you can come on the chat line, chime in. We'll get you on here. But anyway.
Facebook, YouTube, all over the place. IG.
Right. But with Warwick, the defense is there. These kids have bought into what they have been taught, and they've taken pride in that defense. And again, the closer you get to the end zone, as Bethel found out, the stronger that defense stands up. Now, I'm going to make a statement that Warwick people won't like. They're not going to shout out everybody all year. They do play Phoebus. So, but I dare say somebody else other than Phoebus will score one touchdown against them at some point.
Well, Bethel came close. They almost didn't. They got stymied at the end.
Right. And that's great that they want to try to shut everybody out. If that helps you stay focused and motivated, that's fine. The key is just to stop the other team from getting in the end zone consistently and definitely more than what you are. So, but Warwick is pretty tough. They'll be a tough out as later on when the playoffs come up. Those kids just getting better and better. But I don't think they'll shut everybody out. But then again, we didn't think that last year. And what Phoebus was with the last team they played, wasn't it? And that's when they scored.
Yes. Would you like to hear from Coach Corey Hairston of the Raiders?
always, we got to see what the coach, I always love listening to the kids. So now let's get a more calm adult speaking. Let's have coach speak.
Here's Coach Hairston after the victory. Some things to work on, he feels. He's not totally satisfied. His reaction after this on TV.
Okay, I'm here with Warwick head football coach Corey Hairston. His Raiders pitch a shutout 47-0 of the Bethel Bruins as they move to 2-0 on the season. Coach, what can you say? I know it's a blowout victory, but your guys very prideful. They get a 30-yard completion, 4 straight plays on the 2. You stop them, and you had to be pleased with your upperclassmen showing that leadership and grit down the stretch there.
Yeah, they show some grit. We still got areas we got to improve on. A mission is not done. Still a lot of things to clean up. So for us, it's we're grateful for the win, but we got a lot of things to clean up to complete our mission, and we still got a lot of steps to go.
Sure. Well, there were some steps in the right direction. I thought your passing game showed some growth with Saeed Williams tonight. He had a few touchdowns, 165 yards in the air. You cut your penalties down from 15 to 5. And this felt like third quarter when you came out of halftime, didn't have as many points as you thought. I thought your offense showed some more crispness to go with that, outstanding defense you have.
Yeah, sometimes when you go into halftime, you have a little talk.
Yeah.
But actually, I got to correct you. It was more than 5 penalties. We had 8.
Okay, it was 8. All right.
Yeah.
Well, some choice words were said at the break, pretty much, I imagine, to get your guys to keep the focus.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say they came back refocused.
Sure. Your offensive and defensive lines, especially that defensive front with guys like Christian Corbin and Antoine Vasquez and just Dwayne Skip, with that whole unit is really dominating. I mean, what have you learned about them from last year with all the shutouts to this season, the way they prepared off season to now?
They've worked hard. We've been in the weight room for a lot of months. They work, besides just the practices we have, they work extra. So all those things are paying off for them.
Mm-hmm. Last two for you. For you all as a program, you get to the region championship last year. I know you didn't finish the way you wanted against the state championship team in Maury, but it feels like that the expectation and standard has been raised year after year under your direction. How have you elevated this team from competitive to good to now trying to get to that great elite level?
Well, I have great coaches. I have awesome coaches who take a lot of time, study their craft, and put in a lot of work with our guys. So I hats off to all my coaches.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, though you have a lot to clean up still, 2 wins, 2 shutouts, you get some reserves valuable playing time. You have to feel like, they didn't let up and you're moving in the right direction. I know you're missing a couple of key guys. We know about Masai DeLum, Julio Character didn't play tonight, but you're going to get better and better from here, you feel?
Oh, definitely. Because we're going to keep working, and we will get where we're trying to get to.
And he's going to get some tonnage too. Coach Hairston, thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
All
right, thank you.
Yep, you got it.
So Coach Hairston of Warwick chiming in after the victory as he knows long way to go. They want to get back to the region championship in 5B, where Kings Fork and Maury are certainly going to be factors. And even Mansman and Granby playing quite well, which we'll go through some scores on that and fire it back up. Any reaction to what he had to say?
It's funny how the coaches are never satisfied, always worried about one game at a time. And I get that. Being one myself, I understand that. But when you're on the outside looking in, it's kind of funny to see how the coaches are never totally satisfied. And I guess the feeling is we don't want to jinx ourselves. We feel like, okay, everything's good. And then all of a sudden, boom, something happens that disrupts everything and a loss occurs. Because one thing about losing, it can become a habit. It's an easier habit than winning. Winning takes some work. Losing doesn't take a lot of work. That's why they call it losing. So we guard against it. But it is funny to listen to coaches talk about we got to get better. I laugh only because I can imagine coaches' halftime speech. I've been involved in some halftime speeches where it's best kept where it was at. And then sometimes the kids' reaction as you come out of halftime, people will say, man, I wonder what he said at halftime that lit a fire under these kids. A lot of times people think the coaches are screaming, yelling, throwing stuff, breaking stuff. That's not always what's going on in the locker room. In fact, I would say it's less of that than you think. It's more about, okay, look, here's what we did wrong. Here's how we're going to have to fix it. And then you kind of challenge their inner self as to what we're going to do.
Now we got it. We're back. We're unmuted now. We're back. Sorry about that. We are asking on Cova Sports TV, our question of the day, what college football game are you most intrigued by? Let us know. Like, share, and subscribe. The Freeman Legacy, that's Steve Freeman on IG, says Texas versus Michigan. That's a high noon matchup. You get more reaction thoughts on the college football.
That's the only game that two ranked teams are playing, correct? Against each other.
I think it's the only game. I think it's among a couple of games.
I think it's the only game where two ranked teams are playing each other. I think, which makes it automatically. It's game days.
Are you sure Tennessee and NC State aren't ranked? I think they're both ranked. I think you're giving.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, but I would say right now, Texas, Michigan by far.
Okay. You want to put a sandwich on this? I'm going to tell you right now. I bet Tennessee, NC State.
You got NC State. I already know it.
No. I think it's a closer margin, the final margin than Texas, Michigan. I think Texas might beat Michigan by 2 touchdowns today.
I think Texas beats Michigan in a low-scoring game. I think the over-under is 42. Definitely take the under. No question, take the under. Tennessee, NC State, that should be some points on the board there. I got to believe it's Tennessee in that game. And I'm going to lean towards Texas has better athletes than Michigan. But it's at Michigan. And I think the world's picking Texas, so Michigan will like that. I'd be careful. In that game, I would take the under. I wouldn't bet who's winning, though I think Texas will. And I think Texas is 2 touchdowns better than Michigan. And Tennessee, NC State, I think that's a game where both teams are in the 30s. So you think Tennessee, NC State's a closer?
I think it might go to overtime. I think it could be a field goal at the end, or it could be down to the wire.
Right top of my head when I was talking about it, I was thinking Tennessee 37-34, a field goal game. So, yeah, it has the marks of maybe being a potentially overtime game. I just think Texas, Michigan would be something like, 21-7. It'll sound like a boring game, but it should be decent. I just think Texas is the better team, more athletes than Michigan.
You're not going with your upset special of Nichols beating Brian Kelly's LSU Tigers?
We're sitting here again talking about the same things. About not finishing when you have an opponent in a position to put them away. But what we're doing on the sideline is feeling like the game's over. And I'm so angry about it that I got to do something about it. I'm not doing a good enough job as a coach. And I got to coach him better, because it's unacceptable for us not to have found a way to win this football game. It's ridiculous. And
yeah, he's upset. He's very upset. Ridiculous. Pound the table, BK. Pound it. Let him
Been there before. I would think
Channel was entered Denny Green, but it wasn't quite the same with Denny Green, who was a little bit more forceful. And, yeah,
the best coaching interviews after post-game interviews for various reasons. The late great Bobby Knight. One of these days we got to put a few up there.
No, because we'll have too much cursing. We can't do that.
Well, we're just going to have to. It's podcast. The FCC has nothing to do with us, and we're not the ones cursing. But Brian Kelly's already going to feel some heat at LSU, and that was an expected win, and it didn't happen. Now, again, they're playing Southern Cal. That's a pretty good team too, but he has a point about finishing games when you have a lead, especially against good teams. And that game was on the road, if I'm not mistaken, which is makes it even tougher. But in football, I'm going to say this: he's got to get his staff together and say, I can't do this myself. We got too many doggone kids around here. We all need to be on the same page, because sometimes the assistants get a little yippee-yi-yay with winning and whatever a little bit before it should. So everybody's got to be on that same page, and it transcends into the kids as to, we can't celebrate until there's zeros on the clock and we're on the winning side, period. That's it. And you make the intention well known as to what are the consequences if we don't. That has to be clear to the kids. And then you got to go through with that. I don't give a darn how much kids are different this year. Ooh, you got to be careful about their mental makeup. No. If there's games we should be winning and we're not finishing them, and I think it's because we're celebrating a little too early, I got something for the kids to think about for the next time.
All right, we're an hour through the show, and it's time to go through some more scores from Friday night's games, and we'll get this down from the Maury Commodores' victory over Wise in just a little bit. But other action from the 7-5-7 in the Great Beyond Beach District was Lansdowne a winner 18-13 at the Tallwood. Nice job for Robert Jackson's defense to bounce back after the shellacking they took against the Cox Falcons, starting like they're playing at least 7 freshmen. So a lot of young pups growing up, getting that valuable PT playing time experience. You mentioned the Cox Falcons. They were down early, 7-6 to the Bayside Marlins. They weren't down for long as they went on to outscore Bayside 41-2 the rest of the way in the final 36 minutes of action. Cox, the winner, 47-9 over Bayside as they run for 179 yards on the ground. Got a pick six in the fourth quarter. Max Palmerton finds the end zone a couple of times. Jefferson finds it once. And a little nugget, I mentioned Doug Ripley earlier in the show. This is a good one for Doug. Cox gave up and picked up a safety last night. First time that has happened in the same game involving them since what year? Do you know? This is those little, almost useless nuggets, but I'm going to see if you can guess this. The last time that Cox had a safety and gave up a safety in the same football game. What year? Take a stab at it. Don't stab me.
Oh, man. Give me that one. Give me that again.
I said that Cox had a safety and gave up a safety in the same game. When's the last time that happened in the same game? What year?
I would have no clue. 1994 comes in my head for some crazy reason.
Wow, you were close. 1995 was the last time that occurred.
Man, I knew it was in the 3 through 5. I just took 4 because it's in the middle.
Mid-90s, yeah, there you have it. Also in the Beach District on Friday night in high school football, Kempsville Chiefs, they prevailed 51-0 over Princess Anne. Dominant effort from the defense. Ocean Lakes, a 51-7 winner over First Colonial. And Green Run, they continue to rumble 49-0 over the Kellum Knights as their offense. Charles Jackson becoming more and more incorporated in that attack for them. Kassan Farrar, the quarterback who's committed to UConn, certainly putting up big numbers as well. So the Beach, a lot of blowouts, no real drama unless you count the Lansdowne-Tallwood game as drama, and maybe it's time to say concerned worry, but 0-2 for the Lions, not great as they get ready to take on Ocean Lakes, who they put up 51. I told you in our preseason show when we had interviews with Noah Cologne and Devin McGill, watch out for them. They get that win. They could be 2-0 going to Kellum, got PA after that, and they could have a big game with Cox in early October, and Cox looks for real. Their defense is playing well. Salem had the bye. Circle that Cox Green Run game at Frank W. Cox on September 20th. That should be a showdown.
I think I might have said it somewhere earlier in the preview show or whatever. I would think Salem would be the one I'm thinking right off the bat that would knock Green Run, that could knock Green Run. Cox would have been number 2. I think I picked the Lansdowne over Tallwood. That's the only game that I thought would have some intrigue to it. I didn't think there'd be as many blowouts as we saw. I didn't think so. I thought it'd be a little bit more scoring by the teams that lost, but didn't happen.
As far as the game that I got on Ed, because he got that one on me, it was a Southeastern District, Eastern District crossover matchup, and that saw the Great Bridge Wildcats roar past the Norview Pilots. A couple of first quarter touchdowns, 34-6. First season opening win since 2020. You also had Granby out of the Eastern District, a 79-0 shellacking. Oh, my goodness, Ed. What do you say about that one? Woo.
79-0 is like 125-15 in basketball. Granby is for real. They are not the trying to find themselves team of a few years ago. They're legit. I think they have room to get even better. Score in the 80s? Not necessarily, but I'm just saying that they're building themselves up to be a team to really contend with. When you could put 79 points on the board against whoever, that's a lot. It's amazing. And again, I'm going to make this statement: early season, and you usually see these kind of scores very early in the year or right at the end of the year, where it's just crazy 79-0 or 68-6 or whatever. I think at the beginning of the year, some teams are not quite where they need to be, and they go up against somebody that's got it all together. And then sometimes at the end of the year, you'll get a mismatch where a team is just playing out the season. They're mentally kind of drained. The season didn't go the way they want. and then boom, here comes a team that's rolling, and then all of a sudden you see a 79-0 at the end of the year. I don't like seeing it for the kids' sake. I'd like to think, and please, I don't hope Granby or anybody's thinking I'm saying this out loud. Nobody's rolling it up on purpose, because there have been teams in the past who thought winning by great margins helps them playoffs, which is, we already know, they go by a formula. Does not matter how much you win by. That's the game differential is not even in the formula, whatever, whether you win by 1 or 101. That's not in the formula. So I would like to think coaches should not try to score extravagantly in terms of, well, that's how good we are. No. And I'm the type of guy that coach that, when we get up, and I've said this in the past, to a fault, I'll start playing everybody. There have been games, I remember in basketball, we get up 20, 22, 23 points, and I clear the bench. All of a sudden, now we're up 6. And my assistants are going crazy. Like, Coach, what are you doing? And I'm thinking, we can't hold a 20-point lead with the other guys. Why do we got them on the team? Well, Coach, we got them on the team because we got to fill out the team, but they're not as good as our first 5. You took all 5 out. So I had to have the right type of assistants that helped me with my mental makeup in terms of those kind of games too. But Granby, if anybody thinking Granby's an easy win, you better hurry up and think again.
Well, you've done a question to me when I talked about, and if we have time.
You said Granby will be a team to contend with. Come playoff time, they'll be surprised. You did say it. I give you your flowers on that one, but you still don't get nothing with the Fool in the Pool and the Kermit Frog.
Well, listen, if we have time now. We can squeeze in if you want. Do you want to hear what Kendal Jefferson told us after last week's shutout?
Yes. Let's bring that out here.
Let's bring it up. We are talking about Granby's Comets, and we'll come back with some more sound. We've got Maury sound coming your way still in reaction to that game. Let's pop in here Kendal Jefferson after his team's win over the Denby Patriots last Saturday in the heat and the sun at John B. Todd Stadium in Newport News here on Cova Sports TV. Comets now 2-0, 125 points for them, nothing for the opposition as they get to roll here to start this 2024 campaign.
All right, I'm here with Granby head football coach Kendal Jefferson after his Comets 46-0 shutout of the Denby Patriots at John B. Todd Stadium here in Newport News to begin 1-0. Always better to be 1-0 than 0-1, Coach. Is it fair to say you're pleased with the victory, but far from satisfied with the overall performance? A little sloppy at times, ugly, and a ton of penalties. I think 24 total in the first half, 12 apiece.
Man, very happy with the win, but of course, we got to be disciplined, man. We talking about we're going to be a championship program and go on and win a championship. We got to be more disciplined, and that right there is not it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go back to the drawing board and clean up that. But other than that, yes, I am happy with the win.
I think I've said publicly, and I'm printing on Virginia Preps on the podcast too, that Granby last year, y'all were the turnaround story of the area in the 7-5-7. It was similar to Kimsel from a couple years ago. Now it's the next phase. You just said the word championship. Last year it was trying to get improvement. Is that getting it ingrained in their heads? All right, now we're not just hoping to win, we expect to win, and now raise another level?
Definitely. We said playoffs last year. So, I mean, we can't go back years and say we're just going for the playoffs this year. It wouldn't make any sense. It means the goal didn't change. The goal, we have to up the ante. Mm-hmm. And the ante now, since playoff for last year's championship, is what it is, yeah.
We've got a lot of playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. We know about Amon Cuffey coming back, 9 interceptions, led the area. Today you get 2 pick sixes, one by Shanique Wright, who's also a two-way playmaker, offense, defense, and then a lineman for you. I think your whole sideline got so jacked. Was it Jaleel Lee got the pick six for you?
Actually, Corbin, number 3, a freshman linebacker. Number 3 got the first pick six.
Okay.
And then, yes, Jaleel Lee got that.
Gotcha,
yes,
okay.
He's been...
So sorry about that, but Shanique also made a play.
Yes, he got 2 picks today. Yes, he did.
So you had 4 picks total today.
Yes, we did. Actually, that play that Jaleel Lee got, the D lineman, we've been making those plays in practice. Okay. So we've been, like, our D line has literally scored probably at least off of pick sixes 3-4 times in practice over the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. So it's been something that's been practice, has been happening. So, yeah.
Saw you guys last year in a turning point moment, that comeback when you had Kickatin game 2, which is your game 2 coming up. But you graduated your senior quarterback in Christian Post, but you brought back some leaders like a Cuffey, like a Drevion Tharrington. Do you see their leadership rubbing off on some of the younger guys and underclassmen in this group?
Definitely. I feel like Dyrri has helped number 3, Corbin, step up. Since he came to the linebacking core, he's been brought him in. Those guys, they're really understanding now that it's their show. There's no more Christian Post. It's their team now, and they've embraced that.
Tell me about 2 more. Let's run some of the new faces on this team. You have a new starting quarterback. How do you evaluate him? And also another guy in the backfield, Damari Palmer, coming over from the city rival. He gives you another boost. Tell me about some of the new faces, how they're being implemented and adjusting to you guys.
Our quarterback, Jay Sean Redding, he's doing well for us. Yesterday, he had some off throws. I think that was just off mechanical things, stuff we can fix, of course. DeMar Palmer is special. And what I can say about it, he's very special. I mean, he's a great talent. He can receive the ball at the backfield, he'll run, screen game, all of that. So he's definitely a great addition to this team.
And lastly, what would you tell the Granby Comets fans out there, the Granby Nation, if you will, about this group and what it will take to be far? What do you think is unique about this team? I know it's early, you're still learning in each other, if you will, players, coaches, and vice versa. What's kind of your assessment here and outlook of the team?
Honestly, we're deep. Like you couldn't tell today because we actually had a lot of injured players. Like I said, shorthanded, we had 42, 43 dressed out today. Probably like 12 guys that should have dressed out that didn't play today. So our depth is going to be tremendous, especially in the front. You see most of our O-line doesn't play defense for real, and D-line doesn't play offense. So I think that's going to be one of the greatest strengths we have, along with, of course, those playmakers that we already had.
Watch out for Coach Jefferson in the Comets in the Eastern District and Region 5B. All the best. We'll see you soon.
Definitely. Appreciate y'all, man.
And we're back here on Cova Sports TV. Coach Kendal Jefferson of the Granby Comets, victorious in their first two games. And you can tell he's trying to get them razor sharp and focused and laser-like to have those big matchups later in the year because the schedule, let's be honest, bye week, Norview, Booker T, Lakeland, Lake Taylor, Churchland, Norcom Manor, people are expecting and hoping for them to be and thinking, at least I say people hoping that are Granby fans, at least supporters of the program, 9-0 when they play more into the year. That would be an epic Norfolk clash there as the Commodores look like a high-level team yet again. We'll get to them in a moment. But, Ed, we have some more scores for you. You ready for those?
Bring them.
Bring them on, he says. Bring them. Here we go. More scores from around the 757 and beyond. A bunch of shutouts. Atlantic Shores, 48-0 over Catholic at the Sportsplex. 40-yard punt return and 25-yard TD for Chris Higgins, the William & Mary commit. Good night for William & Mary commits. Corey Williams had a pick. He took 24 yards to the house as Michael Lance was 11 of 16 for 271 and 2 TDs through the air. How about the blowout that was in Suffolk? Indian River all over Lakeland, 56-3. The Braves under Brandon Carr are now 2-0 on the young season. More blowouts across the Hampton Roads area and beyond. It's sort of the theme right now, Ed, with all these scores that you've been talking about it. Blowouts. Well, we've got more blowouts for you as they're all over the place. Menchville over Heritage, 35-0 in the PD. You had Oscar Smith, a 54-16 winner over Norcom as the SCD flexed its muscles against the Eastern District. Trayshawn Bradley had an 83-yard kickoff return to the house to begin the game. It was all over from there. Lonnie Andrews the third, 120 yards through the air, 109 yards rushing for him. And Brandon Nesbitt had 112 yards rushing and 2 scores as the Tigers are purring at 2-0 on the season. A couple of key games for them coming up. They have Nansemond River on September 19th. And if they can take that one, I think there's a great chance they're 5-0 after the bye week when they visit Indian River October the 11th. Put that on the calendar, on the docket to go check out. All right, more action from the 757 Benedictine, a team from the Richmond area coming to Chesapeake, and they beat Western Branch for the second consecutive year, 31-13 for the Cadets. It was Matoka from Richmond flexing its muscles against the 757's War Hill Lions. A couple of touchdown catches on the first 2 receptions for one, Dylan Newton Short, as they got it done. The UVA commit and Matoka is number 2 in the state in our Class 5 top 10 all over the Lions of War Hill. Roanoke Catholic a winner 40-26 over Isle of Wight. Greenbrier Christian 57-0 over Fuqua. Amelia County beating Franklin 30-14. Clark County 28, King William 20. A couple more scores for you. This is one that caught our eye, Ed. We had on Tracy Parker before the season. Smithfield Packers got a 2-touchdown lead, and they had to hold on for dear life against the Churchland Truckers, but they got themselves a very satisfying win, 14-13. 2 touchdowns from Kyle Buggs, the quarterback for them, son of Kermit Buggs, and Kenyon Martin runs for $148. How about those Packers? They didn't win for Green Bay last night in Brazil, but they won over there in Smithfield country. That's a very good win for them.
Big win. I thought about picking it. I went against you, Tracy, but that's the Ed Young reverse pick. I pick you to lose because I want you to win, and you will because most of my picks I lose. So, but that is, and it's a close one too. That's as a coach, you like to see that where, okay, we were able to hold the lead, get the lead, hold the lead, got a little close, because at any moment you could, the dam breaks and now you're looking at a 3 touchdown loss. Churchland's a good team. So that's a big win I think they won their opening game in a big score over Norview, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Come back, play a team better than Norview, Churchland, and hold on to hope get the win. So that's some good stuff for Smithville now. They'll probably, if I'm not mistaken, go into Bay Rivers district play now.
They have a bye week, then they're at Jamestown, so they could be 3-0 when they close out the month and visit Lafayette at Warner Stadium in Williamsburg. It would be a biggie. Yeah. That would be a biggie, a bigum, as they say.
Well, again, in terms of mental makeup, to go into that game 3-0 is different than 2-1 or 1-2 or 0-3, which could have easily been. That's a big one, and I'm sure the bye week will be to straighten some things up, work on some things that they haven't really used yet, but we have it in our arsenal that we may use later. And of course, you don't want to overlook the other people until you get to Lafayette, but that a lot of their attention will be obviously on Lafayette.
Also involving the Bay Rivers District teams on Friday night, it was York, a winner over the Gloucester Dukes, as they got the job done 21-6. So Blue Smoke opens up 1-0, does Doug Pereira's Falcons. Colonial Heights bit New Kent 14-13. I thought I could get you to take the bait on that.
I knew you were, and I'm going to tell you right now, I was going to take New Kent, and then my head said, what team has over the years has messed you up more than anybody in picks?
So now your new philosophy is to copycat me. I see what you're doing there. That's your new little trick. Lafayette.
No, I can't. I mean, you have the lead, so you get to pick first. So until I ever get the lead where I can pick first, then you'll see what I'm doing.
We'll never let you get the lead. I play from in front.
In the past, the person losing picked first. Now I guess you change the rules. But again, I'm okay with it. Lynn, Woodrow, all my people out there, you see what I'm dealing with. This is why I can never win, because he changes the rules as we go along.
I don't change the rules. A couple more scores before we get to the Maury sound and reaction from that game and take a timeout, and we'll do our bigger deal in NFL picks to close out this episode of the podcast for today. You also had on Friday night, as I scoured the scores, what have I missed here? I've gone through just about everything. Oh, Lafayette, 68-0 over Booker T. Washington. How about Andy Lynn's Rams? Not too shabby there. They're looking like a Class 3 championship contender. And they'll have New Kent, bye week, Smithfield. I'll be honest with you, starting to wonder, much like Phoebus in the Peninsula, is anybody going to threaten Lafayette? And I'm not sure it's going to happen. Now, Pocosin could have something to say about it. They had the week off. They beat Lake Terre last week, but Lafayette's looking like head and shoulders, knees and toes, and elbows like the team. And they have a lot of different weapons. They've been not that one or two marquee, unbelievable stud, but a lot of guys that can get it done for Andy Lynn's team.
Lafayette's a playoff team. There's no question.
Lafayette are they a championship level team this year in free? Now there's that big monster out in Lynchburg, Liberty Christian, with Gideon Davidson, the Clemson committee, who runs like a locomotive. But they could be a rematch. There could be a rematch come December.
Yeah, no question about that. Lafayette is a state championship contender, and it could very well be them and Liberty in the championship game come December. So very easy. I mean, they're starting out like that's where they're heading. And again, if that focus can stay there and you take care of the business at hand, then when that opportunity presents itself, you'll be a full-fledged ready.
Southampton a winner over Westmoreland 43-20. That rounds out the scores as we cut off the music and we get rolling here on this particular Saturday with some college football, some NFL here in just a bit. But before we do all that, Ed, we have to react to the game on Friday night at Powhatan Field in Norfolk. It was a packed house. It was a heck of a ball game. Commodores and the Pumas of Wise set the scene. Maury got the lead. Wise comes back. Wise takes the lead in the third quarter with a 15-play drive. Maury answers with two big third down conversions. Fourth quarter, Maury's able to get a couple of key stands. They try to run the clock out. They can't do so, and they punt it back. And then Wise gets a completion off a ricochet, 51 yards. Cameron Parker inside Maury territory, and hearts are in the throats for the Commodores at the very end of the ball game, and they're saying, oh no, but they were able to hold on and get the victory to begin 1-0 and move their win streak to 16 games overall. I think they've now won 16 straight at Powhatan Field in Norfolk as well. I'm going to go with the kids and then hear Dyrri McCain. We've got a couple of standouts. The Maryland Terps commit, Carlton Smith, and his soon-to-be Big Ten rival, LeBron Bond, the Indiana commit. Would you like to hear what they have to say before we get to Coach McCain?
Yeah, let's go kids first and then have Coach clean it up.
All right, here it is. A couple of Commodores after the win on Friday night. It was a big one. Here's their reaction and thoughts after the game with us on Cobra Sports TV.
I'm here with a couple of the Maury Commodores standouts after their 22-13 thrilling win over the Wise Pumas tonight. We have LeBron Bond, number 8, the Indiana commit, who had 5 receptions tonight, 38 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and Carlton C.J. Smith, the Maryland Terps commit, who had 11 tackles tonight, a strip sack, fumble recovery all over the field. Be honest, you're on defense the last play. If they get that deflection for 50-something yards and they throw it in the end zone, are you thinking, oh no, not a heartbreaking finish? What's going through your mind there as this one's going down the last play?
I was thinking that at first, but I just knew what type of defense we got. I knew we just had to keep fighting. Mm-hmm. I knew they wasn't going to back down, so all that preparation we did, it definitely worked off. Like, it definitely paid off.
Sure.
In the final moments right there. So I wasn't really worried. I knew me and my guys were going to finish and get the job done.
LeBron, you guys got off in the first half, a couple of key touchdowns, you and Arturi connecting. What did you guys see on film, adjustment-wise, throughout this game? Because they got some dudes over there on defense that can lay the lumber like you guys do on defense.
So I just had confidence in our offense. You know, we put in too much work, and I feel like they don't put as much work as us. So we had a lot of confidence going into this game.
You guys got down the red zone. Was it just a matter of use your speed and race to the pylon, kind of stretch them east-west? What was kind of your mindset on some of those crossing patterns? Just you can't catch in a race, right? Can't catch it, right?
Nah, that was part of the game plan. You know, I knew like nobody over there could like match me with speed. So coach made a good call. We scored.
How much does this matter to have, it's Virginia versus Maryland? I'm going to ask you that too, because you played at a school in Maryland last year, to kind of represent the 757 in your state. You know how big a game this is on your journey to try to repeat. How much was this like a championship level game in game one?
Battle of the DMV. That's how I feel like.
Battle of the DMV? Yeah. What do you hope people took away from tonight? Your Maury fans, the people who don't like Maury, just in general, what do you think they will hopefully took away from tonight?
I just feel like it was two good teams. We battled, but we came out on top.
Carlton, new school for you came from, was it St. Francis last year?
Yes, sir.
You're now playing for a VA school in Maryland. How much did this matter to you, kind of in new surroundings? And you had 11 tackles tonight. You're all over the field defensively. Kind of get me through your mindset going into it and throughout the game.
I just feel like I wanted to prove myself. You know, I had to let people know I came down here to win the state for all my guys, and I just wanted to finish on down here. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Lastly, what was the key to this game tonight? What do you to kind of pull this out full course? It was like kind of grind it out type of game. Was it a lot like last year's game, or very different in your eyes?
It was kind of different a little bit. You know, our game plan was like getting like the D-line tired. We know their D-line was pretty good, so the game plan was get the D-line tired and receivers who had to do our thing. You know.
In your eyes, what was the key to kind of pulling this one out and grinding it out? When you guys lost the lead and got the lead back, how'd you guys hold your composure and get the job done tonight?
I mean, we practice this every day. We do situation practices and all that. So I knew my team was prepared. I knew we was going to be prepared, and I knew we was going to come out on top. You know, I trusted my guys, the coaches trusting in us. And I know one thing about Maury, we know how to fight, and we don't give up.
A 1-0 start for C.J. Smith, LeBron Bond. Who wins Hoosiers Terps, though? Who wins that?
We talk about this all the time. I say, IU.
All right, there you go. Watch out for Bond and Smith. They're going for a title this year. Thanks so much, guys.
Good job. Good work.
By the way, if you're wondering then, Indiana and Maryland for football. And by the way, Indiana scored 77 points last night on the Western Illinois Leathernecks. It's a great nickname, Leathernecks, breaking a 123-year-old record. You know that? Pretty impressive, right?
103?
123-year-old record as Kurt Signetti's Hoosiers scored 77 points. Their previous high was 76 in a shutout against Franklin College back in 1901. You remember that game? You were sitting in front of the TV with your rattle watching.
I don't think I was alive at that time.
No, you'd be dead right now if you were. But Bond and Smith, those two stepped it up in a big way. I tell you what, Bond's speed is something to behold. He, especially when you get him going east-west, he's got you on skates. Good luck with it. And Smith, Coach McCain told me in the offseason he was going to be a big, big factor for them, and he really has been coming in from St. Francis and Baltimore. He's fit in like a glove and mighty, mighty strong to get that win. And they did it in a way, well, you'll hear Coach McCain's comments in a minute, but where it was not their crispest effort. They had a few 15-yard penalties and things they got to clean up. little fatigued at times on defense, I thought, in the second half. And Wise had some drops that if they hold on to, it might have been a different outcome. So sometimes you have to win a game where it's not the prettiest and your stats aren't the glossiest. They had 124 yards passing, 124 yards rushing. But Wise had more passing, 154, and ran for many of those 64 yards on that long 15-play drive in the third quarter where it was suddenly So you take it. And the Commodores' schedule is going to get really tough coming up here with the likes of Dinwiddie and Highland Springs, the Springers first, and the Generals after that.
Well, again, with Maury, you're not going to blow everybody out all the time. You need your championship state level championship team. So you're going to need some games during the year. If you don't think your district is going to test you enough, you need to schedule. Again, football's a little tougher because you only have 10 games. But the good thing about Eastern District, there's 7 teams, 8 teams.
8 teams in the Eastern District, yeah.
They get to schedule 3 non-district, where a lot of the other districts can schedule 1, if at all. So that helps. And Coach decided to take on 3 heavyweights, Wise, Highland Springs coming up, and then Dinwiddie, to get really tested. Not that the district can't test them at all, but come on now, Wise, Highland Springs, and Dinwiddie, that's more than a test. So they win this one close, which goes to show you can win close games against good competition. Now they got to go on the road. That one was at home. Now they got to go on the road against a very good team who's coming off a tough loss.
Very tough.
So nothing is easy. It doesn't get any easier for them. They're going to have to execute better against Highland Springs than what they did against Wise.
Well, we also caught up with Coach Dyrri McCain, and here's what he told us after the win. And they had a special guest that greeted them after the game. He also comments about that. I'm not sure if Ed even knows about this. A special guest. No, we're not talking about Daryl. Daryl was there. We're not talking about me. We're not talking about Big Jim Bob.
I wonder if Daryl told the Maryland team go on back to Maryland.
I heard he put the hex on somebody at the JV game. That's what someone told me. I wasn't there for the JV game, but I'm sure he did. Anyhow, as people that want to know who this Daryl character you're talking about, well, here he is. If you know Daryl, you've met him, you've seen him. Down. Go on back to Upper Marlboro. It's one of our favorite clips. But here is Coach McCain with us after the victory for the Maury Commodores. It is Cova Sports TV and 757 Saturday Sports Talk.
All right, I'm here with Maury head football coach Dyrri McCain of the VHSL Class 5 reigning state champion Commodores, a 20-14 win over the reigning Maryland state champion Wise Pumas. Coach, as the last ball is in the air, you've been here before last play of the game. What's going through your mind after they had a ricochet catch worth, I think it was 50, I don't know how many yards it was, right before that, and you're thinking, not again, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first time that happened, with the time that we lost, it's all brand new because you haven't seen it before. You never, again, like I talked about in that time, you're always having a thought in your mind that it's going to go your way. All right, and that time that it didn't, that was the first time that was kind of experienced. So this one, when you've kind of already experienced, you're like, all right, like it gives you a little bit more calm in the moment. But again, I trust that our guys can make the plays and good back down by them last second. But again, a team that's really good too. So I don't want to take anything from Wise. I think that they'll probably make another push and probably win another title again. It's did we win the way we wanted to? No, we didn't. I felt like we'll grow and we'll learn from this, which is why we play that type of game. Mm-hmm. 2 teams that ended their season on a win last year. And somebody had to lose the first one. So I'm just glad our guys fought in the last second.
Well, and speaking with a couple of your guys, one that was in Maryland last year, and Maryland Terps commit Carlton Smith, 11 tackles tonight. He was a menace on defense, as you told us he would be in the offseason. LeBron Bond, your Indiana committer, had a couple of touchdown grabs. There was a little bit of a pride thing, VA versus Maryland, representing your state and playing this game, which you did on the road a year ago. You guys had to go to different personnel packages and formations, which you're known to do, and you had to kind of dig this out of the mud with not your glossiest of stats. What did you kind of learn and find out about your team against a team that hit you with a 15-play drive, hit you in the mouth, but you had to respond from that?
Yeah, I think, they ended up getting some momentum at some point in the game, and it just kept going their way. I think we put together a great offensive drive at some point in the third quarter, I think it was late third, that ended up getting into a touchdown.
And I think from there it kind of gave us a little bit of momentum. And then in the fourth quarter, it was a little back and forth. But again, like you said, what it showed about us is as much adversity kept hitting us. And even on that long second to last play with the 50-yard gain, we could have just gave up and energy could have been down. But still for the guys to fight to knock it down last play, it just showed me a lot about our kids.
And the poise is there from your senior trigger man, Torrey Newkirk, the rating Class 5 state player of the year, who's still very under-recruited, we feel. And, it's interesting, Coach, because they took away the screen. I felt like at least they were sitting on it in the first half. What did you see from him on that drive that enabled you to take the lead? Because he had a couple of big plays with his feet and also one that was a key completion, I think, to Elijah Moss down here.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of those great drives that we ended up having. But Torrey is Torrey. I mean, we expect him to be one of the best players on the field, if not the, every night. So what he's doing is no surprise. It's what's expected of him. And for the overall guys, I mean, I talked to them obviously before the game, and I just talked to them just based on this whole moment of how this game played out, right? It's hard to play here. It's hard to be a player here. It's hard to coach here. But we were able to weed out a bunch of guys through spring and through summer, and right before camp. We were able to weed out some of those guys to just go with the guys that's going to be able to battle in this type moment right here, because we faced the situation on the 14th. We've been through it before.
Last two for Litcheron. We'll finish up with football, but I want to go to a moment after the game. You had your team huddle up with a pro boxer, Keyshawn Davis, Norfolk native. What was that? What did you take away from that, and what do you hope your guys took away from it?
Just somebody who's able to deliver the same but a different message. This guy walked the same streets, drove the same streets, been in the same malls, whatever you want to call it. I think the biggest thing was how he talked about how he still hasn't felt like that he's where he needs to be. I think that was huge because, the kids look at him as like a superstar, and rightfully so he is, but he doesn't feel that way. And I think that gave a lot of light to a bunch of guys. And not to say that we have a major issue with that, but we got a bunch of guys who are high-profile recruits, and they got stuff going for them and all that type of stuff. And for somebody like him to say that he feels like that he's not done everything that he's supposed to yet, or is not satisfied yet, hopefully it puts something in their mind to show them that there's just more to chase. So I took away that, man. And I appreciate him spending his time to come out to Maury.
Lastly, before you enter the Eastern District portion of your schedule in a few weeks, the Tournament of Champions, I'll call it, continues as you take on Highland Springs and Dinwiddie after that. Highland Springs on the road is coming off a loss to Phoebus this evening. Your thoughts on that matchup? You got them last year. They beat you in a final a couple years ago. There's a lot of history between you two programs.
Yeah, a lot of history. Two well-coached teams, two teams that have athletes, two teams that have gritty guys up front. They're coming off a loss, and they lost to us last year. So we expect them they're also going to be at home. So we're going to expect them to come ready to play. But make no mistake about it, like, we're coming up to Richmond to also ball too. So it should be a good one. They're going to be looking to bounce back. They don't want to lose two straight. And we don't want to lose at all. So people are going to see a good battle in Richmond next week. And I expect them to be ready to go. I'm not going to really pay attention or care about the loss and feel like that we're able to get them. That's not going to happen. We're going to treat it like we're going to play on the 13th, and we're going to treat it like that. I don't care about what happens September 6th with them. We got to worry about September 13th for Highland Springs.
Well, congrats on the win. Thank you so much, and safe travels up to Data 4.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So that was Dyrri McCain of the Maury Commodores with us here on Cova Sports TV after their big win over Wise from Maryland, 20-14. And Ed, you see there on the screen, how cool was that? He took a picture and he spent about, I'd say, a good 10, 15 minutes with the Commodores chatting about his life experiences. He got to compete in the Olympics, and he's a professional boxer that is pretty well known and famous from Norfolk. So that was a cool experience, I think, for all those youngsters from their own hometown to see him as Coach McCain reflected on as well.
Yeah, I think anytime you get a chance to have a person of that nature speak to young kids, hey, I was once where you were, and this is my journey, and has got the accolades that young man has gotten so far. It's so important, which is, so important for these guys and young ladies that go on to be successful, and they get looked up upon by other younger athletes as, quote, maybe role models, that they got to live their life the right way because you have all these eyes on you. especially when you get out and you start speaking to kids and talking about, this is the path. You got to do right. You got, of course, you got to do well in school. You got to get your grades, stay out of trouble, watch who you hang with. Then that puts more pressure on them to continue to not just talk about what you should do, but you got to live it. That's the key. I mean, we try to tell kids it's one thing to talk about stuff, but you got to go out and do it. It's always about doing it in a positive way. But I love it when the former athletes of the 757 high school level come back as college success or pro success or life success. It's tremendous. And I'm glad that they can do that because it's not a given. It's not a given that they all do. And a lot of them don't come home much, or they'll go back to their college town and talk to the people in the college town. But you need to come back to your high school roots. That's where it's really needed.
We both chimed in on this. 15-0, it's hard to do it. I mean, it is. I don't know if the common person just grasps it. And you say, well, Phoebus has done it. This team's done it. And every situation, every team, every circumstance is different. But Highland Springs it's going to be – you're going into a hornet's nest next week. You say, what do you mean? Phoebus just waxed them. They don't want to lose 2 in a row to the 757's finest. And that's going to be a heck of a ball game next week. We'll have to see if that's the game I have to go to. I mean, I hate to see the same team play 2-3 times in a row, but that's an impressive. That's not a bad game to go check out, right?
Yeah, my thing is, of course, in your job of what you do, you try to see as many teams as possible. Me, I just tag on to what you're saying. I'd want to go see the best game of the week, period. If it's the same team 4 weeks in a row, it's the best game, best matchup, then that's what I want to go see.
Some feel that way, yeah.
Yeah, but understand that, you've got to see as many teams as you can. And that's next Friday night. I gotta look at my calendar. That might be a trip for me. Of course,
how about you and Daryl hang out on the sideline? You and Daryl. If you give him $5 in a soda, he'll be nice
Lord,
to you.
geez, that's all I need to run into is Daryl.
Yeah. By the way, chiming in, Roderick Curry too out there says hometown hero Daryl is famous. Yes, he is.
Daryl's well known. Well, no, East Coast. He's known East Coast because he's been to a lot of places. And once Daryl goes
coast to coast, like butter and toast. Yeah.
Yeah, once Daryl goes somewhere, you don't forget him. That image never leaves your head. So wherever he's been, he's left a mark.
Coming up, we've got some NFL picks in our final segment, but we're going to take a timeout and play Bigger Deal. What's a bigger deal? We've got 5 burning questions that Ed and I will weigh in on. And then we'll close out the program with the NFL picks. Do you have your 3 selections ready? Oh, we got the picture back here, folks. Here we go. He wants to show.
Where is Ed Young?
Where is Ed in the picture? If Nick and Jack and out there are watching, let's see. I wonder if they can get it. We could have a little Cover Sports TV.
Front row, back row. You have to specify what row.
Do I get a second guess, or I've already exhausted my one guess?
You can get second guess after.
Well, stop moving it for a second and be still. You keep moving around like it's you're not the tall, big, white, goofy-looking kid in the back, are you? I just offended one of your friends, I bet.
First of all, I think we're all white, so that's going to eliminate some people to begin with. But I'm not going to say a word till the end of the show. In case somebody else wants to take a stab on who's on YouTube, we can see it. Now, the people that are on the mediums that do not have visual, what I'm holding up is a picture of a young basketball team. I think it's his 6th grade or 7th grade. YMCA team. We were in a league, undefeated, and I was the 3rd leading scorer in the league.
Look at you.
As a player. And
stuff.
This team was pretty good. We were a pretty good team. We went about, there's 12, I think there's 12 of us there. We went about 9 deep with this team. We could play some basketball in our area. So towards the end of the show, we have time. I will divulge which one of those is Ed Young.
All right. You'll divulge. All right. We have to take another time out here on Cova Sports TV where you can like, share, and subscribe. And after we hear from some of the sponsors that make it possible for us, we'll have the NFL picks after we do the Bigger Deal segment. So right now, though, let's hear from some of those people that make it possible for us to be on the air with all of you. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a moment.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there, because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
I've learned that life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer it gets to the end, the faster it goes. And speaking of which, it's time for me to go. So until next visit, this is Andy Rooney for Wondering Aloud on Poolside Adventures.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back with you here on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe with the Coach Ed Young. I'm Matt Hatfield. Go Redbirds today, by the way. Hey, we got a couple of comments on your picture, sir. Couple of comments on your picture. I'm sure you will enjoy this. Derek Fulgham said third from the right is Coach Young. Oh, let's go back to the picture here. Third from the right. So he's going third from the right. 1, 2, 3. With his hands crossed. Is that what he's saying?
Third from the right.
No.
Is that right?
Go over. Well, third from the right? Is that what he means? Front row? Or does he mean the third? I'm thinking 1, 2, 3 there. Are you the third from the right? Yes or no?
Third from the right.
Yeah.
No.
You're not. Sorry. Derek, you're incorrect. You didn't win. Jeez. Nobody's getting it right. I don't think you're in the picture at this point.
No, I'm in the picture.
No, you're not in the picture.
I'm in the picture.
I don't think you're in the picture.
And before we move on, is my illustrious book. Oh, we have somebody else. Oh, yes. Woodrow.
1922, Warwick, 1926.
Okay. Once again, I was right, but I'm not going to brag because somehow Hatfield will go in.
And listen, we're definitely not going to have you brag about your NFL over-unders because that came. I was able to tabulate it over the week, and it was ugly last year. You smacked me around, but we will put back up on the screen because I love showing when I beat you. That's how the show works. If you haven't learned it by now, folks, sorry, you just got to get with the program. Regular season totals from last year. That's right. Bruce edged us both, but we got the picks coming up last segment. Right now, though, sir, it is time for a new little game. We do different little segments. We do buy or sell. We do fact or fiction. And today it's bigger deal. It's not deal or no deal. It's bigger deal. What is a bigger deal? You ready to play?
I'm ready to roll.
All right. You sure? Bigger deal. We got 5 burning bigger deal questions for you. And I'll let you chime in on the very first one you see. It's high school football related. We got some college and pro ones coming your way. Maury beating Wise 20-14 to move their win streak to 16, or Phoebus prevailing at Highland Springs to extend their win streak to 36 games. What's a bigger deal?
Bigger deal to me, Phoebus beating Highland Springs at Highland Springs.
I actually agree with you. I think it's a way bigger deal. And now it puts I don't know if the pressure is the right word, but it puts the attention on the Maury Commodores. Can they go do what Phoebus did, if not more? That's how people are in this instant gratification society and world we live in. But that's the challenge in front of them. How do you follow it up? And it was, you heard Coach McCain say it, it was like a B minus type effort is kind of how I felt it was for them. Not their best overall performance from start to finish, and they got it done. Phoebus certainly brought its A game last night against the Springers. Now, does that mean Phoebus is better than Maury or vice versa? No, it's just that's how we view it. I think it's a bigger deal to go win at Highland Springs there. All right, bigger deal. We'll stay with high school on the recruiting front. Now, Norcom lost to Oscar Smith on Friday night, but Ed, over the week, the Hokies of Virginia Tech lost to Vanderbilt last Saturday. What's a bigger deal, Virginia Tech losing to Vanderbilt, or the Hokies seeing Norcom four-star wide receiver Matthew Alton flip his commitment to Penn State? What's a bigger deal?
The flipping, it can be bothersome, but it can be replaced. You cannot get the Vanderbilt game back. I think 90% of the world picked Virginia Tech to beat Vanderbilt, and they should have. No excuse in this one. I think Virginia Tech's a better one. Bigger deal, Virginia Tech losing to Vanderbilt.
I hate to put as people are already chiming in that are anti-Virginia Tech with the Chokies, they have Marshall today. They should just thump Marshall. And the loss to Vanderbilt is bad. I cannot defend it in any way, shape, or form. The Commodores are known more for baseball players than Skip Bayless being one of their alums. But here's what I will tell you. If Virginia Tech wins the next two games, including at Old Dominion next week, and then they beat Rutgers at home, which is not an easy game, by the way. And then I'll go another step further. And this is all big ifs, if you go through all kinds of if, candies and nuts and all that different things they say with the ifs. Look, I realize these are all ifs, but if Virginia Tech gets to that Miami game on September 27th on the road in Coral Gables, and they are 3-1, the Vanderbilt game will not have to be long forgotten, but it will no longer be as big a deal. You have a wide receiver in your state that in your backyard you feel like you can get as far as in the state, and he's going to you and he flips to Penn State. I don't think it's as easy to replace that. They wanted to get Messiah Delhomme. They didn't. They had eyes on Kendal Daniels and Jalen Gilchrist. They didn't. And then they lose this commitment. And I think I don't know if it was because of the loss of Vanderbilt, but it happened right after it. So I actually think the bigger deal is losing their recruit, because the Vanderbilt game is a temporary condition as well. You go win 5 of your next 6 or 7 of your next 9, Vanderbilt game doesn't mean a whole lot. I mean, listen, Old Dominion's beaten Virginia Tech twice before, but did they make it stick?
And we don't need to make it a debate, I don't think, because of time issues here, but I look at it this way. You lost an in-state kid, yes, but in today's portal world of NCAA, they can replace him fairly easy. You cannot get the Vanderbilt. They can go 10-1, 11-1, whatever. And then, okay, that was that one loss. That one loss still going to hurt them. You can't get that game back. You got to win games that you're supposed to win. This game's supposed to win.
I agree. And
unless you lose the number 1 through 10 player in the country who is like an NFL player someday, not that wouldn't be an NFL player, then I don't think it's, in today's portal world, I don't think it's a big deal. They can jump in the portal and get somebody way better than him with experience. Now, that's just the nature of the portal world. But you have a right to your opinion. As I've always said, even when it's wrong, you have a right to your opinion.
I don't know if there's a right or wrong here, and we'll move to the next one.
No, there really is. It really is.
Like you said, but I'm just putting the spin on it. It's the obvious answer would seem to be what you said. I'm just here to tell you that if Tech goes on to beat Miami on the road and they beat a ranked Georgia Tech team, they beat Clemson. If you ask a Hokies fan which carries more weight, beating Clemson in Miami or beating Vanderbilt, they're going to play Clemson or Miami. So that loss
you can alleviate the sting. And you're saying you can alleviate the sting with another recruit. I'm just not sure you keep losing. This is like their fourth 757 recruit they've targeted. You're running out of 757 recruits that you can get that are on your board.
Now you're changing the story. You're changing the story because now you're saying third, fourth guy they've lost. No, we're going by what you have on the screen.
The difference, Ed, was he was already committed to them. He had given them his word, I'm coming to you.
Okay, you're going to believe a kid's word nowadays? Come on, man. You got to be.
You're not going to
your
kids.
headphones
You've
are
got
tight.
thousands of kids out there.
The day I start believing kids' words,
next thing you know, you're gonna hurt them with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. What's next on the list? I'm done with you.
There is no Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny.
Hey, don't say that. You're Scrooge. You're wrong. I don't believe that.
Christmas. I love Christmas.
If you did, you wouldn't have said what you just said. How dare you?
Hey, you can only lie for so long.
What's a bigger deal? Southern Cal outlasting LSU or Notre Dame, your Fighting Irish, beating Texas A&M in College Station?
Oh boy. Hey, wait a minute. It's your turn to go first. Is it your turn to go first?
Yeah, it is my turn to go first. And I'm going to tell you it's Southern Cal because the defense under Lincoln Riley has been much maligned. They've been known as an offensive-first happy school. They got it done with the defense stepping up against Brian Kelly, who decided to pound the table. Texas A&M's got a new coach in Mike Elko, who was at Duke. Well, I think we'll get things turned around. But let's be honest here. You talk about recruiting. Texas A&M gets all these 4- and 5-star recruits, best-looking team in America, in their shorts and socks and T-shirts. But what was their record last year? You remember what they've been under Jimbo Fisher? Not too hot, right? They've been pretty less than stellar. 7-6 last year.
7-6. I think it was
they
7-6.
Were 5-7 a year before, 8-4. They've not been a great football outfit with all their talent. So I don't think it's as big a deal. And I think it's a much bigger deal to beat LSU for Southern Cal to start things off. They're in a new conference, Big Ten. It's a good out-of-conference win for them. The A&M win, all right, Notre Dame's path to the college football playoff and maybe going undefeated regular season maybe is better, but much bigger deal Southern Cal. Sorry, you're Irish, not as big a deal. And their quarterback in that game, Riley Leonard, was, to me, still average. The Duke transfer who used to play for Mike Elko with the Blue Devils. So bigger deal, Southern Cal. Much bigger deal. Notre Dame was not all that impressive in that game. I thought A&M was just yucky.
Oh, boy, that's a little bit tough one for me here because it involves my Notre Dame team.
You know I'm right, and you're trying to make a case the other way. Go ahead.
My first instinct, Notre Dame beating Texas A&M. They come in as not the favorites, even though they're higher ranked. They're not the favorite.
Oh, with Southern Cal.
It was because the Texas A&M crowd, which for the longest time was always plays a role. That place was loud as could be.
You're sure that 53,000 was that loud? It sounded quiet to me.
And I think when it's all said and done, people will say, "Well, Notre Dame should have won by 3 touchdowns. That's bad. That's not a good win for them. They should have won." But that you just take the game for itself. Texas A&M played extremely well. I don't know what they're going to do the rest of the year, but in that game they were very, very good. So I think they have the signs of being a pretty good team. But Southern Cal, LSU, again, the world probably takes LSU. And then my comment is why? You're playing a good team, Southern Cal, who lost their quarterback and a few other guys, but you're playing them at home. They still have a lot of athletes. Lincoln Riley was high on this team. So they hold off an LSU team. Okay, we could talk about their defense, but that was one of the things, and I'm not mistaken, could be wrong, Phil Steele mentioned. He thought Southern Cal's defense as this year was going to be as good as it's ever been. So he already saw maybe something like this coming. So the bigger deal is, drum roll please, Notre Dame beating Texas A&M.
No, you're dead wrong. You're a biased homer. To finish my argument, LSU is rated higher in Phil Steele's magazine than Texas A&M. So take that. I was going to say Eastern District, but Southeastern District, whatever district.
Notre
you're
Dame
not even right now. Whatever district.
Take that, Notre Dame fan.
Take that. Yeah, you're not even in a conference, Notre Dame. What are you, independent still? Please. Bigger deal.
And they shouldn't be.
Green Run. Hold on. We got to fix that. It says Green Run. It's not Green Run didn't fall to the Eagles. Green Run won last night. They're 2-0. Let's fix that, folks. Green Bay falling to the Eagles 34-29 in Brazil despite outgaining Philly 414-410, or Packers QB Jordan Love sustaining an ankle injury late in the fourth quarter. This is, pretty no-brainer, right? It's got to be the injury.
No-brainer.
The injury.
Yeah, the injury. I don't
He's
know.
out 2 to 4 weeks. That could turn into 2 or 3 losses as opposed to 1 loss in a different country, which he'll never play in again.
Hey, how about you got a feel for Willis? Is that the Liberty kid? Played at Liberty? Malik Willis, quarterback?
Yes, he did. Correct.
He came in, not warmed up or nothing, comes in, first play, I think he threw it out of bounds. Second play, he slips on a field where a lot of people slip, gets taken down on a sack, game over. And the game, and that's it. That was your 2 plays. How you got to feel how he feels. No question. Love's injury. We got to find out what's going to happen. I haven't heard anything this morning yet as to is it day to day or he's out for a week or 2. What was the extent of the injury? It looks like somebody fell on his ankle. One of the linemen fell on his ankle, but he did walk off under his own power, so that helps. But I watched most of that game. It was a sloppy game. It was a good game, but it was a sloppy game in terms of turnovers. Not quite as good as the game Baltimore-Kansas City, but I expected Philadelphia to win. I had it 31-24.
Don't lie. No, you didn't. Where did you have that at?
31. In my head, I had 31-24.
Did you publish it on Cova Sports TV before the game? That didn't happen.
It don't have to be on Cova Sports TV to be real. I had my buddy and I were texting back and forth, and he had asked me, how did you pick the game? I said 31-24. I said,
tell Reno to get on the show and verify for it.
No, that wasn't Reno. It was somebody else.
Is it Jim Hammond?
In fact, it was 2 guys, and they're both in this picture.
Oh, I was like, you only got 2 buddies. Who else could it be? I'm no longer your buddy anymore.
No. Whoever put you in a sense you're one of my buddies? Are you crazy?
I know, exactly. What's our last one here? I'm finished with this guy. We got one more. I think we have one more. Do we have one more? Yeah, we do have one more. Bigger deal.
Know.
It's baseball. Mark Vientos blasting a 2-run walk-off home run in extra innings to lift the Mets to their 8th straight win, or Baltimore blanking Tampa Bay 2-0 to stay ahead of your dreaded Bronx Bombers in the American League East standings.
Well, I go first, don't I?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. I would say the home run because it's a walk-off, extra innings, and it's their 8th straight. Frank the Tank had pronounced the Mets guaranteed dead, will not win a game the rest of the year about a month ago. Now they won 8 straight, so maybe Frank's dead.
Frank is not dead. He's alive. You remember what Frank? You know what Frank was talking about this team, but he called them. He said they were
putrid, awful, pathetic, putrid, awful. The nail and the coffin. The nail and the coffin. The nail and the coffin.
Yeah, he was really mad about that. I think he put 3 nails in the coffin, not 1, not 2, 3 nails in the coffin. He was very upset about that.
Yeah, I would think that's a little bit bigger deal than Baltimore beating Tampa, which you would figure is going to happen. It's right now, it's a good race between Baltimore and the Yankees for that lead, Eastern Division lead, which is important to have. So I definitely, the Mets have become a late season big story. They're trying to battle the Braves for that last spot. Come on, Atlanta.
But here's the even more concerning, worrisome part is my D-backs took it on the chin against the Houston Astros. You know what my biggest fret and fear is? That the last weekend of the season, instead of getting the top wild card or even having the ability to catch the Dodgers for the NL West Division title, I'm worried with my D-backs playing San Diego to end the season that could be our fate to get in or get out. And if that happens, and I'm a little concerned about that. So the division thing, if you're in both the Yankees and Baltimore getting in, the division thing might not mean nothing because last year the Orioles won the division and got smoked by the eventual World Series champion Texas Rangers out of the chute. You want to be clicking, and both teams want to get their bullpen straight because Clay Holmes has blown more saves than anybody else in baseball, and Craig Kimbrell has big Craig Crumble. He's been a mess. So I think they're just trying to position themselves to get on a groove because, the division's nice. It gives you that little carrot to have the bye if you're a 1 or 2 seed. But ultimately, you want to be playing your best ball as you go into October and the chase, the race. So that concludes Bigger Deal. And we agreed on a couple of these. We did not agree on a few. So there you have it. We got one more timeout, and then we'll close up the NFL picks on this final segment of the show. It's Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're all over the web, Facebook, IG, Twitter, X, VirginiaPreps.com, Apple, Spotify, too. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get all kinds of great content and sports material and podcasts and have a great old time, a great jolly old time. But now this from some of the partners with us at Cova Sports TV.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Are you transitioning out of the military and need a home? Call Triumph today. That's right, 80% of all Triumph realtors are former military, active duty, or military spouses. And we're female and veteran owned. Triumph Realty, making real estate dreams a reality.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
What is a computer's favorite food? Microchips.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and that evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
All right, we are back with the evil basketball coach, Ed Young. I am Matt Hatfield. It is Cova Sports TV, 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's time now for the NFL picks in the league where they play for pay. And to recap what transpired in the regular season last year, though I won the playoff battle in the whole enchilada, although I didn't get any free enchiladas. That'd have been nice if one of our sponsors, even if Chicho, somebody would give me some pizza at Dairy Queen. Nonetheless, you see the regular season tally, our man Bruce Pearl, the Mustangs, which you can watch coming up at 12 noon here on Saturdays, and also archived on our Cova Sports TV YouTube channel. He is the architect. He's actually the I wouldn't say the founder, but he's been the guy in charge. He was under his father, the late great Sid Pearl, and he's kept the tradition going with the Mustangs. They do an awesome job and does super work with his trophies and everything else too. He's been a real big supporter of what we do and a help with our Virginia Preps Classic and things over the years. You see the picks. Bruce beat me by a smidge, and you were just over 50%. for last season. So, you say the guy that's winning lets the other team that's losing, winners got to give their picks first for the high school. But since you lost, I'll let you. I'm going to be the nice guy, Ed. Since I'm in such a nice mood, I'm going to let you go first.
And I am going to. What's the signal for defer?
You're going to kick off. You won the toss, and you're going to kick it back to me.
Right. I'm going to defer to the second and third picks. I'll get 2 in a row. So I'm going to defer to the first.
That's how you did. Well, since you deferred to me, I'm going to end up kicking it back to you.
I'll defer to you, but you can't take my lock of the week.
Well, we'll let Bruce Pearl get his picks out there first, since he is the man that had the best record. We'll let Bruce say, "Here you go," and we can take one of Bruce's picks, not 2. We just can't take the same pick of each other. So, and you can pick over-unders, all against this point spread or over-unders. Bruce Pearl's picks, here you go. They are as follows. New Orleans Saints laying the 3.5 as they take on the Carolina Panthers. I hate to break this to you, Ed. I'm not sure that they win that game outright. I think the Panthers might upset them in the Big Easy. I'm not high on the Saints this year. You have Miami's Dolphins laying 1.5. Oh, that's actually incorrect. Let's fix that. It's actually 3.5 for them against Jacksonville. Thought that was 1.5 for them. The Raiders are playing the Chargers. I mean, you love the Raiders, and that's -3. So there you go. Bruce's picks. Fins with the hook. Saints with the hook. And the Chargers. I think Bruce is headed for a 2-1 week. A couple of those hooks could be nasty to him. We hope not for his sake. All right, so I go, since you don't want to go first, you want me to go first and you take 2. I take 2 and you have the last one. Is that how we're doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm rocking the Cardinals gear, right? And I hate to do this. But the Buffalo Bills have heard all offseason about the Jets going to win that division. Josh Allen was up and down last year. The defense isn't as good. Who's going to be that number 1 receiver now that Stephon Diggs wears a different uniform with the Houston Texans? Watch for Khalil Shakir to have a big game and them incorporate the tight ends quite a bit in a win over my Arizona Cardinals. And, I actually heard somebody, I could not believe this, and somebody actually said that on the radio on Friday that the Cardinals have a really good defense. And I'm a Cardinals fan. I'm going to be honest with you. This defense is getting torched, I believe. I really believe that. Buffalo's laying 6.5. If we cover and lose, I'll be miserable. But if we win, I'll be happy. And if they win by 6.5, I'll still be upset, but I'll be at least 1-0 on the picks to start. So we'll get that with the first selection. Bills at home, -6.5. I know it's not cold yet. Kyler Murray's got something to prove. Nice new receiver to be excited about. It's a rookie in Marvin Harrison Jr., but I'm a realist. The Bills are 2 touchdowns better, maybe 3. Take the Bills. They'll circle the wagons. Proceed.
Good pick. I'm going.
That wasn't your pick earlier, right? That wasn't your lock of the week?
No, it wasn't here's my lock of the week. Bengals -7.5 over the Patriots.
That's your lock of the week. I hope they win by 7 just so it's a bad beat for you. That would be wonderful if that happened.
Cincinnati wins this game by 25.
25? So you're going to lay 24.5?
No, I'm going to go with the 7.5 because that's what I'm looking at.
All right. Jamar Chase going to catch touchdowns in this game?
He may not even play.
He might not need to. All right, what's your second pick, sir?
Okay. There's a lot of games I like. A lot of games I like. The one I keep going back to, a little tricky, but I don't normally do this. I'm gonna do over and under.
Oh, are you taking one and I'm taking it? You better not take this one. I just saw it. You better not take it. I will stab you through community technology. Don't you dare take it.
Minnesota and the New York Giants under 41.5.
I wasn't thinking about that one, really. So you don't have a lot of faith in Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, huh?
No.
You could be right. I'm going to go with an over-under here out of the chute. First week. You ready for this one? And I got a dog this week. I'm going to pick a Bow Wow in honor of our friend, the man, Dino Franza, the brand manager at Fox Sports 1310. We love Dino. Dino was great on the picks. He always beat you and me. especially you, on our NFL picks we did over the years when we were on radio.
You know,
what's that?
I kept track of it. It's right here in the paper. You know, beat me once.
He beat you more than once. Stop it. I'm going to an over-under. Your Raiders against the Chargers. See, the total of that game is 39.5.
I looked at that. I
mean, is that because there's not any faith in Minshew mania, baby? I think he'll get a cheap touchdown at least. And Justin Herbert, I know he's got to find some new weaponry, but, Jim Harbaugh's coaching. He's a darn good coach. Antonio Pierce isn't playing linebacker anymore. He's coaching, no longer the interim. There'll be 40 points in this game, right? Give me the over 39.5. That's way too low. Way too low.
I think it's over 40 in that game.
Yeah, way too low.
Chargers alone probably have 30.
Way too low. Exactly. They'll win this game 28-16, 27-17, and I'll get my cover. I think. And then my last pick, I'm going with a bow wow. Dun, 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 dun. Hail to the commies, the Commanders of Washington, getting the hook. 3.5. Jane Daniels, the rookie quarterback, Ed. They're not going to need the 3.5 because they're going to go to Tampa Bay where Baker Mayfield's the quarterback and win outright. And if they don't win outright, they could lose by a field goal. So give me Washington plus the 3.5. This is the beginning of the Jaden Daniels era and Washington. You heard it here on Cova Sports TV. Clip this, save this. All you Eagles fans excited about the big win in Brazil. All you Cowboys fans that believe in America's dream, that's not America's team. You're not repeating in the division. The Giants, you got a long ways to go, Giants. Sorry, no more Saquon Barkley anymore. The Washington Commanders will win the division with a rookie quarterback and Dan, the medicine man Quinn, as a coach who might get coach of the year as a rookie coach for them. Take it to the bank. Just be careful. Washington's going to win the division. They'll win this first game, I think, outright, plus 3.5. The last pick. Your final selection, sir.
Okay. I'm going to go.
It means he's stalling, folks. He doesn't know where he's going to go with. He's totally stalling.
I'm bouncing back and forth. It's a game I don't want to touch because it's two good teams. One team everybody's going gaga over. The other one is becoming a surprise. I'm going to touch it. Give me
the two games you're deciding between, so I can figure out where you're going to go. Give me the two you're deciding, and I'll bet you I can guess it. Go ahead.
Rams, Lions.
All right, I think I know where you're going with that one.
And
what's the other one?
Where was my other one at? Dolphins, Jags.
Well, they're going gaga over the Lions because I'm picking them to go to the Super Bowl and win it, as are others. And the Dolphins, Jags, you're enamored by Tyreek Hill, who's come to the Plex the last 2 years, and Tua Tagovailoa, and boy wonder Mike McDaniel, and that whole Dolphins regime, the offense with Ashan and all them guys. You're going to go with the Fins over the Jags because the 4.5 scares you with the Rams. You got a little belief in Puka and Cooper Kupp and Stafford and the boys against his former team, Stafford in his case. The Jags you're not buying into because last year I took the bait like a lot of dummies that they would go to the Super Bowl and they ended up having the best record in the AFC for about 11, 12 games, and then they floundered at the end. And Doug Peterson's on the chopping block this year, I believe. So I think you're going to go with the Dolphins as your play. Am I right or am I wrong on this?
You know what? No, I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid. I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid.
Hold on, I got Kool-Aid. Go do that. I'm gonna get the Kool-Aid. Hold on. Go ahead.
I got Lions 4.5. Okay, minus 4.5. I think they can beat Rams by at least 7. Okay, I'm gonna stick with it. If they don't, and they get smacked by the Rams, I'm not picking the Lions the rest of the year, even if they're playing elementary school. Not doing it. So. I'm going to go on a limb.
You're just talking. And by the way, we have Kool-Aid liquid tropical punch right here on the one side, and we have Kool-Aid grape liquid grape on the other side. So we got Kool-Aid for you. You want to drink it?
Yes.
I'll ship it to your.
You can't even get the right Kool. Everybody knows Kool-Aid. The chat line is filled up with it. Kool-Aid. Cherry Kool-Aid is the summer.
Oh
drink.
no, Denise, Noel already finished that one. We had cherry. We had cherry and orange.
What we
got left is grape and tropical punch. It's gone.
Go out and get it. I need cherry Kool-Aid with
Listen,
ice.
it's in high demand at the nearby grocery store. I'd say which grocery store, but they don't sponsor the show.
So we can't talk about it.
I can't say which one. There's only two near me in Kempsville. You figure out which one it is. One or the other. Is that funny?
One or the other.
All right, so to recap, and by the way, real quick before we recap it, just because we've gone over time, but nonetheless, we got Mustangs football coming your way at 12 noon. We do have some Virginia flavor.
I got to run.
I know you got to run. Buffalo Bills -6.5 for me. All right, you got that. Over 39.5 with Chargers and Vegas, and Washington +3.5 for me. And we do have some Virginia flavor. Jonathan Allen once was at Western Branch. Cleveland Farrell, Alameda Zacchaeus, starter in the slot for them. You, sir, are taking the Cincinnati Bengals. What was the line on that game? Is it 7.5? Yeah, 7.5. It's a lot of points you're giving up, but all right, we'll give it to you. Under 41.5, you're taking in the G-Men, the Giants and the Vikes. Nick Senti's Vikes out there with Patrick Jones, who we had on the show in the summertime from Grassfield High School. The G-Men, they got Nick Saldiveri, a second-string left guard. And then the Detroit Lions restore the roar, -4.5, with James Mitchell at a Union High, Virginia Tech, a couple of William & Mary guys, plus Hendon Hooker, the backup quarterback to one Jared Goff. He out of Virginia Tech in Tennessee. That concludes the show. Ed, this was fun. You got to run. I got to run to Darling. Have a great weekend, and we'll do it again next week right here on Cova Sports TV. Which one were you? Let the people are dying to know. Which one were you? You're the tall, goofy kid? That's you?
Tall, goofy kid in the back.
Get out of here.
That's tallest kid. I'm the tallest kid in the back, the goofy kid in the back.
What's up with your left ear? It looks like it's falling off.
It could very well be. It could very well be.
No, what's wrong with the left ear?
And I'm I think I'm the only one wearing white sneakers. Everybody else was supposed to wear black, and I wore white sneakers.
Unbelievable.
Some Chuck Taylors, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, that's going to do it. We'll talk to you all next week right here on Cova Sports TV. Have a great sports weekend. Pro, college, and high school football and all kinds of sports for you as we go into the teeth of September.